The show you're about to listen to is basically myself and a couple of friends hanging around in an undisclosed location, having some drinks, talking about students, and talking about education in general and what it's like to be a teacher. You might find a couple audio dropouts here and there because one of us forgot to bring the audio cable for the microphone, and that person would be me. But for the most part, all the message comes through clear. Take a listen, tell me what you think, and I'll see you later. All right, here comes the show.
Well, in Hawaii, kind of, everyone's gonna know. Literally, everyone's going out to Google Maps right now, and they're like, Hawaii Kai. Let's see. Where is the only darkish Mexican-looking man and Chinese man in Hawaii Kai? This house right here.
Right at the white people's house.
Yes.
We'll just tell people I work at the pool.
True. No, I think, wouldn't...
Hey, ladies and gentlemen.
I guess I would follow
the least attractive pool man. So if any of you are into that particular thing, not with this guy.
No.
I would be the yard man.
Yeah. Because you're darker than me?
No, because I'm Mexican. Well, I'm Puerto Rican, but I'm the Mexican-looking one, right?
You know, most of the Mexicans I've met are better looking.
Damn. Yeah, true. You're right.
What are we drinking, by the way?
What aren't we drinking?
Mango.
This is Hinomaru whiskey.
Do we have a person here who speaks Japanese? You guys who grew up in Hawaii, you're failing me right now.
What? Japanese is not the central or the most dominant language here.
No, but if you want to make money.
You know what? They've been telling that for years. I've been hearing that for years.
Actually, I used to work at Central Pacific Bank and founded by our Nisei soldiers returning from World War II. Japanese heavy, didn't learn any there. Wasn't part of the culture.
Yeah.
Steaks and drinking beer.
Yep. Mango double. What is a double India Pale Ale?
So double IPA just basically means it's stronger. What's the percentage?
IPA stands for India Pale Ale?
There are, 99 times out of 100. There's also such thing as an Imperial Pale Ale.
I think I've seen that before, yeah.
It is.
It's 8% right now.
About the IPAs, for those who are interested, is that basically, you guys all know about the Dutch East India Company, of course, the British East India Company, right? Yeah. And so there were all these Europeans heading off to India to do business, make money, et cetera, right? And they, of course, like their beers, right? But if you shipped something overland that had been brewed and finished in the UK, it would get funky by the time it got there. Refrigeration didn't exist at times. And then I suppose later in that period, it just wasn't what it is now, right? And so they actually innovated an in-cask fermentation process. So you start everything in a cask or a barrel, right, in the UK. You put it on a train, send it to India. It's fermenting in a hot process overland as it travels. And by the time it gets there, it's ready to go. And it's got a distinct flavor. Hence the origin of the India Pale Ale. And so big with those guys. And then so switching gears to the Imperial Pale Ale is apparently there are probably a couple of Russian nobles and businessmen and stuff like that doing business in India essentially the same way, right? They developed a taste for this thing and they said, hey, why can't we get this in St. Petersburg, Moscow, et cetera, right? So they essentially did the same thing in cask fermentation process over rail, but different latitude, different temperature. So you have a cold fermentation process, or colder rather. In fact, yeah, if you're a big fan, if you like the Imperial Pale Ales, if you want to try Rasputin's a stout, but yeah, the Imperial Pale Ales tend to be very strong, arguably even stronger, and it's a little different finish. Shoots.
How long have you been an alcoholic?
How old am I now? I gotta do some math on this. Hey, I resent that, okay? Because an alcoholic will drink anything. I'm going to drink anything with a story.
Yeah, I give you a lot of credit for having a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, I know nothing, Jon Snow.
Well, here we're looking at this.
Is that copyright? Like, are you going to get sued for that? All right. You know what's sad? I tell the kids that, and half of them don't. I mean, they shouldn't know their child.
They really shouldn't. It's not a kid-friendly show.
You're right. I take that back. But, you know, it's kind of sad that no one catches that reference.
Not to mention the fact that show ran for 8 seasons.
8 seasons. Yep.
And it ended 3 seasons ago? Is that about right? 3 years ago? 4 years ago?
Is it? No, before COVID.
It was before COVID.
So it ended 2019-ish?
Yeah, I would say so.
Subtract 8 years off of that. So 2010. A lot of our kids
they were like 5.
Born in 2007.
They were literally 5. There's no way they
There's no way.
You're right.
I mean,
my mistake.
Now, some few very, very cool kids, right, have an appreciation for things older than themselves, but not most.
Like when we went to pick up the drinks from, where do we go?
Village Bottle Shop and Brewery, or Bottle Shop and Tasting Room.
Yeah, like we went in there and then the lady brought out this box of all the stuff. And I asked Mark, I'm like, Jesus Christ, how many people have come into Joe's place
There's currently 3 people here. I can count on my fingers still yet, up to 3, and I can confirm.
Well,
3 adults.
I feel like we should explain, like for those uninitiated, that there's a beer of the month club over there.
He has a beer subscription that screams alcoholism.
You know what's lacking from that though is home delivery. You know, that's it needs to come to my door, please. But
that's brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, they have such things like
you buy them. I deliver them. Howard manages the money.
Wow. There's a racial there's a racial aspect to this that I'm not going to make, right? Yep. Wasn't going to go there myself. I was going to leave it to you guys.
Nope.
White people can't make those jokes. Brown and yellow folks can.
You know, I think I was approached by a student doing a survey in our hallways, and they're like, have you ever been like at the target of a racial joke or a joke based off your ethnicity? And I said, yes. And they said, have you ever made a joke based off of ethnicity? And I said, yes. And that was it. That was the only 2 questions. And then I was like,
well, you don't know what it was?
I was like, wait a minute, does that make me racist? But then because here it's just completely different. It's completely different here.
Yeah, most people in the mainland do not understand.
Yeah.
Living here, like we grew up with Portuguese jokes.
Yeah.
It depends on where, but you're right. Well, I mean, white America's gotten very, very afraid of making those jokes. But yeah, we know that it's the culture.
Yeah.
Right. In many places. And any place I think where you have a truly diverse population, you're going to have those jokes.
I think so.
You know, there's stereotypes, and I'm not saying it's the right thing. I'm not making that argument, right? But anytime when you have enough of a cultural presence where that minority community no longer feels oppressed, or where it's has enough of a presence where it's like, hey, you know, I can advocate for myself. I can stand up for myself.
Yeah.
You want to make a Portuguese joke? I'm coming back at you, right? But
yeah.
But if you're in, I mean, Dubuque, you know, or whatever, like it's going to be hard to.
Where is Dubuque?
I don't know.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Is it made up? Is it real?
It's a real place.
Okay.
There's a QU in there. You can look it up. And that's the last bit of help you're getting from me.
But then
Here he goes. The phone's out.
I'm gonna look it up.
as Mark is looking up where Dubuque, is it Iowa?
Nope.
There's a QU, you said?
DE.
DE.
No, Dubuque.
Yeah. DE.
B.
Right. Oh, okay. Wait, hold on. Let me English this out. It's not an English word, but I can sound things out. This is what we call
Ladies and
problem
gentlemen,
solving.
English teacher here.
All right. Dubuque is not with a QE. I mean QU.
Oh wow, I'm enjoying this more than I thought I would.
The whiskey is getting to me. All right.
But I don't know where Dubuque. By the way, as Mark's looking this up, we went to this village bottle shop.
Did you say Iowa?
It's in Colorado.
Well, there's more than
What?
one.
I said
There's an Iowa.
correct.
Yeah, but
Holy fuck, the Chinese guy was correct.
Well, according to Google, the first thing that shows up is Colorado, so you're not correct.
he's not correct. He's not wrong. Okay.
There's a Paris in
I'm
Texas.
True.
I'm
You're right.
going to need an etymology on that, please. Obviously, it's French.
Yeah.
I need to know, is it Indian in origin? Is that the French spelling of an Indian word?
I don't know. How do I even
Let's find
Google
out.
that?
Etymology, not entomology. You're going to get different results.
Etymology.
Which would you rather date? Who brings their work home? An etymologist or an entomologist?
Entomologist works with, which one works with bugs? Yeah, yeah. Let me try more of the Hinomats.
By all means.
Please. Please, thanks. Hey,
Well,
I don't know. I don't know how to Google this.
When you said
I put
Dubuque etymology.
Yeah, I did. There's a history of the town of Dubuque.
There you go. Okay. So named after?
Okay.
Is that a Wikipedia thing?
Okay, hold on. Yeah.
Chinky chinky. Wow, you had to go racist. Clank clank. Oh, okay.
Chinky. And the Chinese man laughs.
So this is how it is in Hawaii. That's right. That's right. On the mainland, you would have heard a deafening silence. If that had happened in Oregon,
Yeah.
everyone would get real quiet, real fast.
no. That's why it's lives are friends. Like, we can say this kind of shit. It's fine. That's fine. Well, you know what I want to talk about today?
Oh, I don't.
Now that I've like,
I'm actually worried about it now.
actually, how long have I been on vacation now?
Hey, Mark. Last time Howard had an agenda. How did it end? An agenda. Last time you had something you wanted to talk about. I don't know.
Was it your AI textbook?
That might have been it.
I think that was the last time you were like, this is going to happen and I will not stop until it happens. And then you did it. But what happened after?
I built an entire AI presentation. Is that
Yeah.
what you're talking about?
Yeah.
so.
No, not that one. The no one will ever be able to teach AP chemistry.
Oh, let's tell. That's yeah. So one of the chemistry teachers that works where we work,
Okay.
she was talking some shit about like, oh, AI can never do my job. Like, the fuck it can't. So I go, just tell me what textbooks. I don't want to tell you. I don't want to tell you. Like, so,
I do remember this. At a distance, I was not involved, but I remember the after.
yeah. It was Brown and LeMay 13th edition chemistry textbook. And I said, okay, fuck it. So I took the book,
Yeah.
got the PDF, and had my AI ingest
Learn it.
every single page
Right.
to make it an offline model where they could answer any question about the text. And then I gave it to her students to use. And I'm like, good, use it. Congratulations. AI did your job. Go fuck it.
Okay, so I need to know, and I think I'm probably going to be opening a can of worms here, but how does the AI do at processing diagrams and images?
Well, great. Now that I'm not drunk yet, let's talk about it. So what it does, it tokenizes every single letter and every single image.
Did not understand that, and I can see from the look on Mark's face, he's not tracking either.
Tokenize.
Okay. Then you have A, a P, a P, a L, and
And has certain characteristics associated with it.
right. And then understands how it responds the word apple to other words that it tokenizes. The apple, this apple, its apple.
Articles, we call those in English.
Okay, well, I've never seen that before. So the AI will be like, I've never seen that used before. That probably wouldn't make sense.
So it's going to give you an alligator more or less spherical in shape with the color of a golden delicious.
No. So what it does, there's something called a generator and a discriminator.
Okay.
Okay. So the generator and the discriminator works, they're contrary to each other. So let's pretend I'm a generator and you're a discriminator.
So let me guess. Like the generator makes, the discriminator eliminates possibilities.
Yeah. So the discriminator said, fuck, man, that's pretty good.
Thank you.
So the discriminator,
He's kind of smart.
the knowledge thing, the discriminator knows what goes together, and the
Okay.
generator at random goes, look at these two things. Do they match? Or did they go together? And the discriminator like, yes. And the discriminator would be like, okay, how about this? And be like, no.
Gotcha.
And so through this trillion times a second process of elimination, because these things go together, so this must make sense. That's how it takes things apart.
Okay.
Yeah.
American apple pie.
Yeah.
Red flags, yellow sickles, American pie, no go.
Yeah. Like pool house, beach chair pie. Like, no.
Pool house, beach chair, shandy. It's a beachside beer type thing. You can get it in a can or you can make one yourself.
Then that would
So is that what makes good AI generation the difference between good and bad AI? Because
and a really good generator. Because they fight each other constantly to say, help me improve. So the generator goes, oh, you rejected this idea? Okay, I'm going to try to do something else to fool you. So the generator's job is to fool the discriminator. The discriminator's job is to check the generator's work to say,
for accuracy.
I don't think this is real.
Are these, how do I say this? Are these integrated and iterative, or does the discriminator reject and the generator starts over?
The generator knows, oh, you rejected this. Okay,
I'm going to give you something different.
I'll give you something a little different from what I've just given you.
So it understands that it was rejected on the grounds of blank?
Yeah, like, no, this doesn't make sense because I've never seen that before. Ever.
Okay,
In everything
okay.
I've read on the internet.
So the generator is smart enough to understand the grounds on, no, the generator is smart enough to understand the grounds on which the thing that it put out has been rejected.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, it's not random generation every time the discriminator runs a check and says this either makes sense or doesn't.
I've tried this 3 million different things and you rejected them all. So there must be
Check.
Try this one through
Okay.
one through 9 too. But yeah. So it basically took her textbook.
And I'm sorry, that is essentially machine learning, right?
Right. That's
That's how it gets better. It doesn't take a nap. It doesn't call in sick. It doesn't,
Right.
it doesn't do any of that shit. And that's why it's so good. And so we use the tool all the time. And anyway, that's a whole long process, but that
Easy, Tiger. Easy, Tiger. People don't understand AI like you do. I don't.
Well,
he doesn't. No offense, Mark. But
I don't
I mean, I think Mark's head and shoulders above me when it comes to understanding. But people don't. I mean, I do not understand this. I mean, I'm learning right now, right? So, like, when somebody says that your AI can't do the job of a teacher, I mean, I would forgive them for that understanding, thinking that AI is just something that writes basic 5-paragraph essays, for example. And that's a conversation we've had.
yeah, I see it as a helper. It is a tool to help me, right? So a lot of teachers are afraid because they feel it's going to be a tool for cheating and a tool to replace them. And I say, like, even with Mark's class, and
Mark teaches English, by the way, and and yearbook, of course, and creative writing.
and world literature.
Thank you much. Okay.
yeah, and even if a kid wrote something, so I always use this example. I say, fine, I want AI to write me a love letter in Farsi. Okay, and Farsi is
Hey, Persian.
speaking language.
Persian. Different.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I appreciate it. And then but I can hand the letter to someone that reads and speaks Farsi, and they'll be enamored. Then they'll be like, great, write me another one. right now, but I can't because I don't speak it. I don't read it. So AI has only made me go so far.
Right.
So when Mark's, students go, oh, well, I can bang out an essay. Mark can just go, great, here's a pencil, make the correction, then add on.
Yep.
And the kid's like, I fucking can't. The fuck you can because you suck and you cheated.
I mean, I literally caught them in yearbook. I said, you guys need to stop using AI to write your captions. And they're like, we're not. I said, okay, rewrite this caption. It needs to be rewritten. But I don't know what to write. That's what the next thing that happened.
Sorry, talk to me about that.
So students, because
The captions.
the captions in yearbook are short, like barely a paragraph, like 3, well, I guess it is a paragraph, 3 to 5 sentences.
Not individual students' captions. Like, hey, I'm a graduating senior. Here's my caption. But you're
No,
talking about,
like a description
hey, here's a photo
of,
an
yes,
event.
description
Why
of
the
photos.
hell would they need? Well, now that's a problem in and of itself, right? If they're relying on AI to write a description of an event that occurred on campus.
I mean, when are you posting this podcast? Okay, well, at the time of current right now, this year's yearbook, you're going to notice the same words and the same structures used so many times because when I challenge them to think, they only use the same thing. Like I almost had to ban certain words in my class because they don't know how to write, which leads me to hopefully next year when we do registration, I'm going to have interviews and I'm going to say, you need to take this sheet to your English teacher and you're going to submit a writing sample and a recommendation from your English teacher because
it's not a terrible idea.
It's so detrimental.
Yeah.
Or the reaction of football students, or people watching a football game, like and they go, I don't know anything about football. Google.
This could be fun, actually. You take some of my students, some of them work for you.
Yeah.
My special education students, have them do the caption and then have your kids go to work on that.
I mean,
guaranteed to be fun.
They're working harder than
my kids will bring all kinds of new stuff.
They're working harder than some of the other students in my class.
Many of them, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're going to have guaranteed different perspectives, different expressions, they might be wild. They just might be like, I don't know, you said baseball game or whatever. It might be like, I don't know. Can you describe an image?
Like someone mid or after pitch, right? So they throw the ball, they're in the follow through of the pitch.
All right. I mean, I don't know what my kids would do. Honestly, I'm going to leave it up to them. They're incredibly creative.
Yeah.
But you're definitely not going to get boilerplate statements.
So this is probably the worst yearbook class when it comes to being able to problem solve themselves.
Huh.
So in response to that, I've made it incredibly more difficult next year through the curriculum because
sorry, difficult to get in or difficult to do what they need to do?
The level of work. So like the people who have come out of yearbook 1 going into yearbook 2 have immensely more responsibility.
Good.
But it should be easier if they do their job. Okay. Like if I have, 10 level 2 editors, right? Mm-hmm. The workload should be easier, even though on paper it looks harder. That's my theory behind it. And I was so sick of, I don't know anything about water polo. I don't know anything about golf. Yeah. I don't know anything about
bowling.
Watch
a game.
No, so they go to the games, but they don't get pictures because they don't understand what's going on. So I've created a 60 plus question Google form that is pass or fail. Yes.
What's on there? So wait, is it specific to the events they're covering or generic? What are we talking about?
Generic sports information.
Okay.
Like how many innings are there in a softball game?
2.
How many positions are on a soccer team?
7 that count.
No, so you're gonna have
positions are
7 that count.
No, like
that's what I said.
It's information that you wouldn't need, right? You wouldn't need to know, but the whole point is to get them to look it up,
to take a little initiative, find out, ask a person.
So what's hard is in the Google Form settings, which I think should be changed. If you do Chrome locked mode, right, it disables one of the settings. I think it's to repeat submissions, like you can only submit it once.
Yes,
which I think is kind of a bummer because I want to lock them out of Googling anything. Right. But I want to give them a chance to submit it more, I want them to be able to repeat the process.
So what's the problem with it? Just opening up to multiple submissions? I mean, like a kid who's motivated enough should be able to go back in there. Like, hey, do your job, man.
Yeah, but it locks out that option. If you press locked mode, it locks you out of multiple submissions. You can only submit once. Because I don't want them to Google it during the test.
Why make it a test? Why not make it an assignment? Hey, you know what, kid? It's not about knowing it right now. It's about taking the initiative, taking the responsibility to look it up, talk to somebody. And that's also I would say too, especially when it comes to covering sports, like I would want let's call them reporters, okay? Not just yearbook kids, right? Let's call them reporters because it's their job. Yeah, exactly. Like they want to attend that event and capture what's important, right? They should be talking to people. They should not be Googling the rules of cricket, for example, which I've tried many times and still do not freaking understand cricket. But I've tried to Google the rules of rugby too. I still don't understand rugby, but I've talked to enough people to know that mauling is an official term in rugby, and that's freaking amazing. Yes, dude, yes, exactly right. Like there's a technical term, and I'm with my buddy who's a broken leg and stuff like that, and I'm watching that, and I go, oh my God, that guy's getting mauled right now. And he goes, actually, no, mauling is when. This is 20 years ago.
Like
but
us as adults, we can do that. Like,
well, I was in college.
well, I mean, like even if I was in high school, if I didn't know something, I would ask, and I wouldn't. But these kids nowadays, they don't understand that the answers are not only right in front of you on a computer.
Sure.
But if I go out to anyone on top of the softball team and I say, hey, how come you guys pitch underhand versus overhand? They should be able to tell me. And if the people on the softball team don't know why, then
It's the patriarchy is the answer. But anyway,
Fucking patriarchy. All right, if you had that on your bingo card,
right? Just
so I can't play that again?
no, that's it. That's done. One time use. One
I'm
time
cut
use.
off from use of the patriarchy for the rest of the night?
Just like how you tried to cut me off from the whiskey.
Dude, you could. Oh,
no,
wait,
earlier.
Wait a minute. Did you not cut yourself off?
I cut myself off. No, I can't do any more of that.
Oh, okay. Well, for those listeners at home who weren't here for that,
Yeah.
it's because Mark has a tendency to say, "Oh, thank you," and then shoot it.
Yep. I don't know how. I'm not a classy drinker.
Yeah, he needs to sip,
Yeah.
and you're supposed to have your pinky finger sticking out like mine right now.
But what if I don't have a pinky finger? That's ableism.
Let's see your hands, and if you want to claim a disability,
look, here's my Hinomaru. Pinky, go fuck yourself.
hey, let's get one of these on camera or on. There we go.
Put it right to my throat. Can you hear my
said-
voice box clinking?
By the way, guys, before we proceed, how's my hair? I said on camera. I'm joking. Please don't answer that. In a year or two, I'm going to look like.
It's fine.
Yeah, the difference.
Save
Oh, I do know. As a matter of fact. Yeah. No,
Mark's thing about like kids that don't know shit.
dude, we're never going to get off of that, are we?
Yeah.
No,
Let's talk about that because a lot of kids they have no grasp of other things, and why don't they want to?
I don't know.
dude, I'm on my kids about this so many times, and I just dropped this just the other day in a world history and culture class, and a kid was asking me, damn it all if I can't remember what it was, but it was pretty basic. It was like, what does this word mean? Or something like that. And I looked at him, and this is a smart kid too. Good kid, does his work. He's an A student, but he grade inflation. We can talk about that later, right? The amount of effort this kid does is just enough. It's not extra. He's not, I guess the thing I'm looking for is inquisitiveness, And what I said to him was, you guys, and I've said it many, many times before to many other students, and you guys have probably heard me say it. You guys have access to information like nobody else in the history of the world, and you can't be bothered to pick your phone up and look something up. Like I, as an adult, routinely look up words I don't know. You know what I mean? Stuff I don't know. If somebody tells me about, I don't even know. I mean, like North Korea, what's the population versus South Korea, whatever. I mean, I look that stuff up.
Just like our dubuque. Right
there, you go.
I looked it up immediately.
Well, of course, you are under pressure here on a podcast.
Oh,
it's going to go
no pressure.
You got to know that the listenership for this is at least 5 people.
Oh, I stared you directly in the eye. Just kidding. No, you guys should definitely listen into this podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys at home, that was a soulful look eye to eye between Howard.
And telling me I'm worth it.
God, I've been here. I've been on this podcast a few times. Yeah. I started on your YouTube channel when we sat down in your original couch, your 2-seater love seat.
Was this on campus or at home?
On campus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a nice.
No, this was before he upgraded. This was like OG.
Like wooden benches.
Almost.
It was like one of those like outdoor furniture.
Rattan chairs.
Yeah, but it was really like, it wasn't as big as that love seat that we see over there. Okay. It was a little bit smaller than normal. Did we clean out
the seat didn't bring the love, you did.
Yes. Actually, did we clean it out?
We cleaned out a back like double closet size area, and then they would just set up the camera, and then that was it.
Yeah, and
I've been in your room. Where relative was it?
Yeah, the secret room.
Oh, where the nice camera stuff?
No,
Okay.
No. It is on the opposite. I'll show you that room eventually.
All right. Cool. I'm gonna get invited into the
That's where
inner sanctum.
That's where your massage chair is, right?
The massage is not outside. Right?
Oh,
Wait, does the masseuse live there?
yes.
Okay.
He's not paid. He's not paid.
He's not paid. He's just.
It's really good.
Where's he from again?
Howard, would you care to?
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember like that sitting down because we just met and you're just like, hey, esports is a fallacy. And I'm like, no, it's not. And you're like, prove me wrong. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll just talk about it. And then, so I've been here a while.
Did you convert him?
Yes.
Yeah, I came to this conclusion like, look, I don't like esports, and I don't like multiplayer. I always hated it. And even when I play video games, Marcos, I see you're online on Steam and you play Age of Empires. I play Age of Empires, like, good for you.
Yeah. Wait. Age of Empires, which one?
4.
Jesus, they're on 4?
Yep.
Last time I played it was 2.
Okay, wait. Sorry, I'm going to pause you because I know he's going to appreciate this. You know how it goes through the ages?
Yeah.
Right? And it starts like it's based off
I believe
English
it's
history.
Copper Age?
No, like they've done it all different.
Okay.
But as you age up, the English ages with you. And as you age up, the English becomes clearer.
Like you go basically from Beowulf to Chaucer to
Yes.
Shakespeare?
And then to modern English. Only English people would pick that up.
Wow.
Yes. If like it sounds like they're speaking a foreign language in the original age, and as you go up, the English gets better.
That's pretty
in the
awesome.
English campaigns. If you're playing at like skirmish mode or something like that, like the campaign, that's what I noticed. Oh. Yeah.
Well, that's very cool.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
How's the French? Starts German, turns French.
I mean, that's English.
Wait, the Franks.
Yeah, but English also started as something and then became something and then became something and then.
Well, no, I meant does it do it for all the cultures or just English?
I have no idea.
Okay. I'm sorry, just for those at home, because I feel like we don't make enough this clear. Like Mark has been teaching a number of older texts. I know you guys are reading Gilgamesh. No English checkbox there.
Nope.
But do you guys do Chaucer?
Nope.
Okay.
That's 11th
What's the
century.
earliest pure untranslated English that you guys use?
Shakespeare.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Which is early
17th
modern
century.
English, by the way. It's not old English, you clowns.
Right.
Can I say that? I'm sorry.
Touche. Let's not talk about the Knickies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Talking about video games over here, trying to educate people and shit. What am I, a teacher?
So the point was like,
I asked. It was a bad idea.
fuck all this multiplayer shit. But I was like, wait a minute. So I'm like, hold on. If Mark's a friend, and the kids are a bunch of shitbirds.
I love how you set that up as a question. If Mark's a friend.
Because I just
We just met. Yeah, we just met.
Oh, this is back
because you
3, 4. I talked to
No,
him.
this is like 2019.
Okay.
When I first started working there.
Pre-COVID, just pre-COVID.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, check.
No.
Out of COVID, hybrid. It was a hybrid schedule.
Yeah, so it was right after COVID, but we only started talking after COVID, I think. I don't think we talked pre-COVID.
2021 then?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So the point was like, wait a minute. If the kids don't do well in class,
Yeah.
they play esports, then I get to tell Mark the kids are not passing, and he'll fuck them up.
Okay.
And then if they all fuck up, then they all lose their computer privileges, which means the computers go back to the school,
More time for the teachers to play League of Legends.
right? If the kids do
When have you needed a better computer?
always, so the kids do well because they're motivated by esports. Then let them play esports so the kids do well in school, and then I win as a teacher. If the kids don't do well, I'll go fuck yourself. My next phone call is to your coach, and the coach will ream them. They'll be banned from playing, and I'll take the satisfaction that they can't play video games, and I still win.
Yeah.
I win either way.
So it is enforcement mechanism for you rather than an enrichment. From what I'm hearing, it's an enforcement mechanism rather than an enrichment tool
Yes.
in their education.
I'm a bastard.
I hate to say this, Mark. I'm actually kind of inclined to agree.
Yeah.
I still have a lot of questions about the validity of esports as a learning and or life improvement tool.
So think about it this way, okay? So we all have good communication skills.
Do we? Have you heard me talk? I'm terrible. Nobody likes me, dude. You know the things I say at work? Nobody agrees with me.
We're at his not a strip place.
You're right. True. We are a couple drinks in.
I'm trying to be under the radar, and you guys are forcing me into the daylight. I'm a very unhappy cockroach right now.
Yeah. Well, your dog's quiet. Why are you complaining?
Because he's locking the closet.
But you got food.
Okay, but we're talking about communication skills.
Wait.
I'm fat and happy.
I'm trying to think of the musical reference. I love musicals, by the way.
He does. It sucks.
I'm trying to figure out the musical reference right
You
now.
got any from Hamilton for this one?
Hold on. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think.
Let it go, bro.
I think I'm letting it go.
Let it go.
Let it go. All right.
You
Okay.
got the whole world then.
Yeah, I mean, we can open the doors too.
Yeah.
Frozen, my guy.
I'm Frozen. Dude, you have 2 little girls. How do you not know
Frozen?
Goddamn thing about Frozen.
Out of my mind.
All right.
Okay. Trust me. Watch the shows as an adult and say, wow, that is some twisted, deep stuff that they're talking about.
Yeah, I've only seen it once.
Good job.
As an adult.
But I got sick and fucking tired of watching Bubble Guppies.
What's a bubble
What
guppy?
is Bubble
Bubble
Guppy?
Guppy is a bunch of guppies, and they live in the ocean. They live in a lake or whatever, and they play. But they got campfires, and there's a bus that drove off a cliff. I'm like, whoa. They have a fire underwater.
Dude, are we talking about the Smurfs? Did you have like a brain fart? Or
Bubble Guppy.
why have you not shown your kids Smurfs?
I have a personal media server with a ton of. Let's finish this.
No. I want to come back to that in just a minute. And I haven't forgotten, and I totally want to hear that.
Don't worry about it.
Because Mark's gonna have a diatribe about the quality of esports. Because as the esports coach,
Esports coach.
you know, hey, I'm sorry, what's in your hand right now? Anyway, but no, you had better have a very well refined and prepared defense for this.
Yeah,
because
100%.
We're putting you on hot seat.
Yep, don't worry about
But let me ask you this though, Howard. So I have
Hold my beer.
I have 3 nephews. Dude, that's the only thing you got is your beer. Where'd the scotch go?
Sponsored by
Sponsored.
Mom. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm gonna open up the session in the next one. But okay, so here's the thing. I have a sister. She's younger than me. She has 3 boys. Okay. And obviously they're all in Europe and stuff like that. Okay, but they're all blonde haired, blue eyed, perfect little Hitler Juden. Okay, but anyway, Dad is Swiss German. The jokes just fly. Yeah, no, but
shirts.
dude, they're painting little mustaches on their lips and
Like, are we
goose-stepping.
making sure every time they raise their hand, it's straight up?
It's out at no, it's not 45. It's about, I'd call it about 60 off of the vertical.
When they're playing soldier by themselves, like, are we like watching them? Like, yo, you can't do that. You can't do that.
No, they never play by themselves. That's not a recipe for success. But all kidding aside though. So my sister is a wonderful, smart, talented person, but she's a little extra, okay? And so I was babysitting and stuff like that. I do that a couple times a year, either when I visit them or when they visit here and stuff like that. And I used to joke, and I was like, no, we'll watch something innocuous, like Gilligan's Island. Okay. No, because like, okay, so Mark, you're too young. Howard, you grew up in Gilligan's Island.
Yeah,
yes, true or false?
There's a frog, right?
True or false?
What?
Gilligan's Island, there's a frog.
Go take a lap. Go take a lap.
Frog.
Go.
Am I thinking of the wrong show?
Drop and give me 50. I don't know.
Gilligan's
Island, dude, it was from the 1960s.
Yeah, they got
Yes. Now sit right back and you hear a tale with a fateful twist that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship.
I think there's a generational gap. Because it was from 1960.
I believe it leaves Honolulu Harbor, right? Or Honolulu Marina? I think the video is that they don't really put that on the nose, but the point is though, it's this show and it's dated and stuff like that. But here's me in my innocent, old, non woke brain, right, thinking that it's pretty innocuous, right? And my sister's like, do you know how sexist and racist it is? You can't show them that or whatever. And I'm like, it's not. Oh, shit.
Well, Marianne.
It is. No, the whole thing is sexist and racist. And they had that Japanese soldier guy who was trapped on an island since World War II, right? So racist.
It's the 60s.
I know, but I mean, but that's not suitable for today's youth, right? And so
Wait.
Shoot.
Hold on, wait. Yeah. You're telling me Hitler Youth is filing all
my sister. No, I'm saying the boys. I mean, so my sister has hair like me. It's like dirty brown. My brother-in-law is dark brown hair, right? And these kids came out like blue-eyed, blonde-haired Aryan youth.
They came out armed first.
No comment. I'm not saying
When they're going, instead of going, wow, they're going, hail, hail.
I am not saying that my nephews from France adhere to such ideology. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they're Hitler's wet dream.
I said, oh shit. Going back on the 80s shows,
We're coming back to him. We didn't forget about you, Mark.
I downloaded all five or six.
The old people are talking.
That's right. So mind your place.
Yeah.
Hey, seen but not heard, okay? Sit there quietly. We'll get to you when we get to you.
Yes, Grandpa.
So true. So true. Yes, fuck yeah.
A-team, come on.
Dude, the A-team is amazing.
A-team?
A-team.
No sense of recognition, even though they did a remake of the movie.
I heard the remake. I heard of the remake or something like that. I didn't watch it though.
TV show. It was a procedural show where it's like, you know, and hence that is a really, really jacked up show too.
How?
Because I'm watching it and B is like always the bad guy, but every time there's a fight scene.
Wait, you said BA is the bad guy?
Bracken, the B brackets.
Well,
like,
Mr. T.
Mr. T.
Do you know Mr. T?
Yeah, say what? No, that's
Dude, oh my
not the
God.
right guy. Wait, I know Mr. T.
Dude, if I
hold on.
students right now,
Yeah, he has a
I'd
gold
say-
chain. What is his tagline?
I pity the fool.
I pity the fool. I pity the fool. That's right. That's right.
No,
that's right,
I'm
that's
sorry.
right.
Did you put a hard L on there? Because no. I pity the fool.
Oh, okay. Well, I did not.
The bitch.
He was the muscle. This was a trope of that era. Absolutely. Ghostbusters, anyone?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say, hey, I'm kind of glad they corrected for that a little bit in the more recent Ghostbusters remake, where Winston is actually like, hey, he's the business mogul and blah, blah, blah. By the way, just watched it like a couple days ago because I was preparing for the new one, the Frozen Kingdom or whatever it is, right? But yeah, but like Winston, I mean, he was super cool and stuff like that. But let's be honest, everyone else is a scientist in the original Ghostbusters, and they bring on Winston as the muscle, like whatever. But yeah, you know, Mr. T was the muscle. And though, let's not cut him short, he had the engineering wherewithal, right? If it came to fabricating or constructing something, he was the guy. I do think that they undersold that, right?
Yeah.
Like that is a pretty amazing talent and skill. They didn't play it up though appropriately. Yeah.
Airwolf.
I do remember vaguely. Yeah.
But let me just talk about episode season 1.
Okay.
Stringfellow
Airwolf.
Hawk, the main character.
Wait, what's his name again?
Stringfellow Hawk.
Stringfellow.
This episode 1, season 1, first airing in 1827.
No, man.
It's give or take. No, it's in 1827, 1828.
Okay, all right.
That's how rapey the show was.
Rapey.
I thought we were talking about race, but let's jump tracks.
So there's a female like assistant that comes with one of the guys.
Yeah, wait. Was it the female lead? Because, dude, my memories of this are vague, but
Like she comes in and they went to his cabin in the woods.
already a great start. Where he's writing his manifesto.
Long trip or whatever. They have to sleep over, right? At his house. And so he's walking around in like a blanket looking at his pictures and he shows up.
This is Stringfellow.
Yeah,
Stringfellow. Dude, do I need to look at I want to call BS. His first name cannot be Stringfellow. Oh, okay. I'm going to the internet. Please continue.
Grabs the woman by her shoulders, pins her against the wall, and says, "What are you doing?" And she goes, "I'm just looking at your pictures." And something to the effect of, "You know you want this," and then drags her into the bedroom where they proceed to do it. What the fuck?
That sounds like rape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you hear consent there? Did you hear consent?
It was I'm not going to defend this, but it
Camera pans to like the window open and the breezy like the next.
Does it shake a little bit?
It does.
Oh,
The
okay.
next morning, he's making eggs, and she's like, "Hello, good morning." I'm like, "Yo, you just got raped. How do you feel?"
what a gentleman, though. Yeah, I mean, he made her egg. I can't even.
That is a heavy pour.
Yeah, well, I slipped.
Heavy shit.
That's a heavy. It's not a shot, Howard. How dare you?
Holy fuck. Okay, come
Don't
on.
shoot that.
Yeah.
If it's too much, you can share a little bit. All right. You see Mark with his cup out?
Yeah.
Ignore it.
Yeah.
Two.
Chink, chink. I'm waiting for the spit take. I'm waiting for the spit take.
I have way more self-control. Thank you, esports.
Next shot. Oh, hey. Hey, for your shot.
Yeah, seriously, right?
Oh, crikey.
So, in a more serious note, though, my grandpa is German, right? His family comes from Germany, and my grandmother, her family comes from she's Jewish. So they married together, right? And like I get this
German Jew.
No, I don't know. I don't know what the history is.
Well, I'm
but
curious. I mean,
she identifies as Jewish.
No. Time out.
I'm an English teacher, Howard. Give me a break.
Well, sorry. No. This is interesting and this is important, right? Because like I actually share some of that exact experience, right?
Yeah.
German and Jewish, right? So typically speaking, we would say as a subset, Ashkenazim, right, or Ashkenazi, were the not exclusive to Germany, but Germany and Poland and stuff like that. But it's a particular sub-ethnography of German Jew, right? So anyway, but your grandparents are of a different generation than my grandparents. So your grandparents, are we talking post-World War?
Yes.
My grandparents were like in World War II and arguably before.
Yeah, no, this has to be post because my grandfather served in Vietnam, so this is way post. So
My grandparents' mother's side, German Protestant, German Jew.
Huh. Well, I figure I'm not alone. Anyway, so this is happening, right? And back when we're young and dumb, right? My friends are doing stupid stuff, and I come home. I think it was got to be high school, early high school, freshman year. My friend draws a swastika on my bag in Sharpie. He was making a joke because he knows that my family has the German Jewish backgrounds, right? And whatever, he's doing that, and I didn't know he'd do it, dude. My grandma broke down in tears.
No kidding.
Yeah, and she's like, "Why is this on your bag?" And I'm like, "I had no idea, dude." Ever since then, like I've been like, "Yeah, like
Mark is no longer
shit
allowed to hang out with white people just in case."
Just no, but like this, I didn't. Living here, you're so excluded from everything else in the world. Born and raised here, all I know is Hawaii. You know what I mean? Like and everything that happens in the rest of the world comes to me in a trickle through social media or news, which is already behind because it's happened halfway across the world.
Well,
you know what I mean? Well,
information travels pretty fast right now.
Nowadays,
I would argue that we in Hawaii have the luxury of not being overly concerned with what's going on in the rest of the world.
True.
Like having lived on both coasts of the U.S., right? The West Coast is dramatically different from the East Coast, right? When I lived outside of D.C., goddamn, everybody talks politics everywhere all the time. Politics. And it's not just national, although there is an emphasis on national politics like we can't even believe out here in Hawaii, right? We don't talk about national politics almost at all. Sorry.
No, yeah. So it's just like, it just didn't dawn on me the effects of the real world until that moment. I was like, wow, there's more than just our rock and the ocean out there.
The very first time I got called a racist word was at least.
You got called a what?
So I got called a Jap. First of all,
Dude, you have even a little bit. No, I didn't think so.
I was not mad. I was like,
are you full Chinese? Oh, okay.
But I was at Greyhound bus station.
What part? Your pinky? That's racism. No. Because he's from Hawaii?
Brown. Not from 10. Well, I know friend.
Yeah.
I was in a bus station in Leesburg, Florida, and this black guy came up to me and goes, "You fucking Jap," and I'm like, "Really?"
A black guy said that. Yeah. Interesting.
I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like I wasn't mad.
Yeah.
I was like, "Wow, my first bout of racism." Like you just fucking found a nickel on the ground or some shit. Like this is great. And I'm like, I'm not even Japanese. And he walked away. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
The second time I got called a slant was in San Francisco, which was weird by a homeless white lady.
Speaking of being called something racist by homeless people, I was in Kailua. Okay, I was in Kailua going to Walgreens, right? Yeah. And there was there's a lady, right, that was just clearly homeless, right? Potentially on drugs. I mean, who knows, right? Yeah. And she goes, "Damn!" She took one look at me. She goes, "Damn, they letting dirty Mexicans in here now?" And I was so like. I kept walking, but I looked at my wife, and she goes, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Do I look that Mexican?" I was like so confused. I mean, granted, my mustache, if it's not connecting, I look Puerto Rican as hell. Yeah. Right? Like, because it's just that short, like almost not, I mean, it's not really pervy, but I could be in Home Depot and they'd be like, "Do you do yard work?" And I'd be like, "No, what the fuck?" But I was just so perplexed. I was like, wait a minute. Oh. Is that what racism feels like? You know,
like as people who've never experienced it living in Hawaii, like wow, I got called.
Yeah,
I couldn't wait to tell people like, hey, I got called a racist name.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's almost as if, you know how they say, with herd immunity. Yeah. Right? Like, like everyone, because they're all mingled together, they become immune to certain things together. Right? Like, I wonder if we have a herd immunity to racism because there's so many races here. There's so many that you can't really be racism because we're all kind of equal. You know what I mean? The only people who are not equal are the white people who bought houses here that don't live here and don't come here for the winters. You know what I mean?
And Joe's
I pay taxes.
I just want to say that we're in Hawaii and a house. I'm just kidding. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's
not my house, just a house of my people.
There's really like, even when it comes to that too, the only reason why there's any dislike towards any howlies out there is because they come here and they disrespect us, which is the correct response, I think, to anyone on the receiving end of disrespect is to get upset, you know? So...
I read something online. I'll share it with Mark earlier. Like, what did somebody write online? There isn't a teacher shortage. There's thousands of teachers out there.
I saw that same thing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Spec shortage.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like,
in other words, there are more than enough qualified teachers to fulfill all the roles we need, but they're not teaching.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a broader issue.
Shall we transfer back to esports?
I mean, like we're off in all kinds of like race stuff, and like it is fine, man. I think you guys know, like I'm fascinated by demographics and demographic shifts and stuff like that, and I could talk about this till the end of time. But at the same time, I'm probably going to be labeled a racist. Before we move on, though, should I told you guys
Your
I'm gonna show you
Google,
that picture.
your Google search. No, wait, no, you needed to Google whether or not he was still fellow. Was that the name?
Stringfellow.
No, he was
Stringfellow.
right. Oh, I'm sorry. No, you guys were like right in the middle of it. Howard was in fact correct. Yes. The character's name was Stringfellow, which, by the way, like
You can
I don't know
sit
what
back down
that's
now,
all
Howard.
about.
You don't need to take a victory
Yeah,
lap.
no. He can take a bow. He can go ahead and take his bow.
Well, that's my 45-degree angle.
Right.
Oh man. Oh, I think
We're gonna go to work back on Monday, and we're gonna be like, yeah, your last day is at the end of the week. You can.
Oh yeah. So you guys, I know you guys like picking on me because I'm white.
Yeah.
Okay. And for those listening at home, I'm assuming this is a mostly Hawaii-based audience. And yes, I'm about as howly as they come. I had some students the other day asking me, so I was wearing shoes with socks. Go crazy, right? And they were like, I wonder what your tan line looks like under those. And I was like, I haven't seen the sun in months. So like, there's no tan line. It's just pasty all the way down, right? This is the wedding party that I was part of the other day.
We are looking at a picture of him in a wedding party, and he
Literally the only white person.
But it's not like you'd expect for Hawaii. No. You can take it.
Black guy, white guy, black guy, black guy, black guy, black. Is there another black guy behind him? I can't see. Oh, no, that's a reflection. Oh, my God.
Man.
Holy shit.
That was the wedding the other day. 25 people.
Wait. Let me explain this.
Go ahead.
Because all the black guys are wearing
White. Yes.
There was
handsome crew, right? And you're the only white guy wearing
not handsome, he notes.
and a white.
Okay, so for the wedding itself, okay, we all had that uniform, okay, and it was cream vest and cream pants, white collared long sleeve shirt, right?
Sure.
And, I wore that for the wedding, right? Because by the way, all of the gentlemen darker skin tone looks great, right? Me, freaking ghost.
He was blending in.
That's right. No, I vanished. And so for the reception afterwards, right, I thought it was hilarious because when I first walked in, I was wearing a black collared shirt, and the groom, who was by the way, that's the guy on the far left there, right? So the groom is my guy. Okay, that's Drew. All right. And he and I go way back and stuff. Good man. Great man, actually. But anyway, so Drew saw me in my black shirt and he goes like, oh no, you're not going to wear that. And I'm like, no, man, I got this it's in the clothing bag, right? Yeah. I got a garment bag, right? And so we thought it was really funny. I talked to some of the other groomsmen and stuff like that. Cause like after that reaction, when we went from the actual wedding, which was at Magic Island, up to the reception.
Well, they got married here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that was right here. That was in Honolulu and stuff like that. So I was like, dude, should I? And I did. And by the way, I look like John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. Okay. And that's actually what he said to me too.
I know younger John Travolta days, so I'll take it. I saw, what is his movie in? Say what again? What movie was that? Quentin. No, but I saw John Travolta in that movie, in the Pulp Fiction. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Did you not know who he was?
No, I knew who he was. I recognized from Greece.
Okay, musical fan here again.
Yeah.
Again, Mark is
You're the one that I want.
Musical fan, right? You're the one that I want.
Ooh, honey.
Yes. Yeah. More rape culture.
I think she consented. I think she
I'm gonna
consented.
let you work on that.
What's another
movie? I never seen Rebecca the Nerd. No.
Oh, I'm trying to remember the minutia.
Or Outcast play everybody.
Yeah, vaguely. Yeah.
The head.
Oh wait, he pretends to be somebody else at some point. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh man.
With the head cheerleader.
Oh, that's dark.
The head cheerleader is dating the captain of the football team.
Yeah.
Okay, the captain of the football team at some kind of like Greek fest was dressed as like a Darth Vader.
I can't remember, dude. It's been a long time.
Okay, Darth Vader. But so was the head nerd guy, which I don't even remember his name. I feel bad about it. Oh.
I don't feel bad about it. No.
Anyway, so he said
Domino.
he said to her, well, he walked up to her and he goes, oh, whatever his name is. So she thought he was her boyfriend.
But it wasn't?
No, they went to the bounce house.
That's illegal.
And they did the bounce house.
Dude, that was the 80s for you. I mean, 16 Candles, right?
I wasn't alive.
The Michael Hall or whatever, as the nerd, Jake is basically like, take my girlfriend for the night. She won't know, more or less.
Shit.
Yeah, pretty sketch, right? Makes you really like long for Back to the Future. Nice and pure.
I like Back to
the Future, nice and pure. I mean, sure, putting it all in context, the guy's mom is hitting on him and wants to sleep with him, and it was still one of the most pure movies of the 80s.
One of the most wholesome movies.
Have you not seen, and Mark looks confused right now, have you not seen Back to the Future?
You haven't seen Back to the Future?
Go do what you're doing. He's making a run to the kitchen. Yeah, you know the way. No, you keep going straight, take a left.
All right, Mark is taking a quick break because he can't handle the 80s references.
Born too late.
Yeah, the Back to the Future, terrific movie. Terrific.
You know, they literally pull that one apart in, I can't remember the name of the guy, but he writes a book called Save the Cat. And it's about perfect story structure, you know, in terms of writing either a movie or presumably, I guess you could extend it to a novel or whatever, right? Okay. You know, I mean, classic, you know, plot structure, right? Okay. Exposition, rising action, climax, falling action. I'm probably missing a few things, but you get the idea. And he says that Back to the Future is, for all intents and purposes, a perfect. And it is very good. I mean, I don't know if I'd go quite that far, but I mean, it really does a pretty good job.
Oh, it's a fun movie to watch.
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate their second one where like into the Wild West.
That was the third one, was it not? The second one goes to the future, I think.
And the third one's like you back in the past. I don't know.
I gotta say, I mean, you know, given the age I was at the time, I wasn't thinking so critically. I was just going to the movies to have a good time. I loved them.
Did you hear about the weird thing that one of the kid characters did during the movie?
Not tracking yet.
So, okay, at the end of the movie, and if I'm spoiling for someone, then watch that.
Stop listening for 2 minutes and get a life.
Yeah, you should have watched.
By the way, our version of Get a Life is watch all these movies.
Yeah. And at the end of the movie, one of the kids gets out of the train, the time traveling train, and like does some weird shit with his hands, like he's like rolling his fingers back on his palms, like he's clapping with one hand. Or some shit.
At the very end of the movie of Back to the Future 3, if I'm not mistaken, and by the way, it's been a decade or more since I've seen that one. I came out late, mid-90s? I don't know. But because like Michael J. Fox retired from acting and stuff, right? So I want to say that Back to the Future 3 was no later than the mid-90s. Okay. I could be wrong. But if I'm not mistaken, you're talking about the character of Doc Brown, who has married Clara Barton, or something along those lines. Yes, who's fantastic, by the way. And he does a little visit. So it's believed that he's dead, right? Yeah. And he has, instead of a DeLorean, he has a time traveling steam engine.
Traveling train.
Yeah. And he's got 2 young boys, and they have. Thank you. I'd forgotten that the names. That's perfect. Jules Verne. Born in 1828.
Are you guys done talking about old stuff now?
No, you can stay tuned, okay? Hey, Mark, where's your notepad and paper?
Yeah,
I want to say the same thing I say to Mark to say to my students. Where are your notes?
I brought you warmed up steak.
I'm good. I brought you beer. Hey, I'm gonna call this.
All right. Yeah. Okay, then.
But by the way, for those listeners at home, as opposed to those listeners on the moon, Mr. Howard, can you guys? Yeah. Hey, I'm sorry, guys. I'm programmed to do the whole Mr. stuff because we work with kids, and so we try to maintain that bare minimum level of professionalism at school. But Howard has done an amazing job in these goddamn steaks. Wow.
Yep. They're pretty darn good.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck American Wagyu is. It's probably just regular steaks.
But cheaper.
But no, they were really good. They were tasty steaks. We did butter and salt, pepper, butter.
To perfection, I would say. Honestly. Yeah. I mean, I saw you salt and pepper them first, and then I didn't know what the hell you were up to with the butter and the mustard. Yeah, but they came out amazing. And so we did them, what do we call this? Kind of like poo-poo style? Like, what do you call it?
Yeah, so it's poo-poo style. We just basically took these things, cut them up, put them on a plate, and then you just pick off the plate.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, it was getting cold, so I figured as the younger person here to serve my elders, I'd go warm them up for you guys. Yeah.
that he talks a big game.
I also did it. like I physically did it.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
How many times have I had to pour my own alcohol tonight?
Okay, that's true. It's also on your side of the table.
There's a reason for that. It's because you can't be trusted.
No. By the way, is this like a chocolate coffee thingy?
Well, that's actually interesting. This is a break side, and I need my glasses because I'm old as hell. And so in a moment, though, it's a 9.5 and it's a light. Here's the weird thing. I actually don't know anything about this. This is completely new to me. You picked up a bunch of them. So
yep.
Mark and Howard ran the pickup for my Beer of the Month subscription. And there are volumes for this. So we have in the fridge, we have different volume numbers.
I think there's 3 of them.
This is 5 from what I can tell. So maybe we didn't get all 5. Maybe we only got 3 of 5. But it's a Portland, Oregon beer. And whatever the series is all about, this is a 5 in my hand, and it's a 9.5 by volume. And now I will pass it off to Howard, and maybe he can put his glasses on and read the fine print.
Nope. I will tell you though, like these beer bottles are what is it, 20 ounces? 25 ounces?
I don't know. I do liters.
What are you telling you?
That looks like 600 milliliters.
No, like this, you don't understand. When he said before, the very first time we went to sushi, the very first time, he said, we got to stop off.
Was it the very first time?
Yes, we got to stop off and we got to go get some beer right now because I have a beer subscription that I'm behind on. And I said, okay, fine. And then he brings this plethora of beer. One of them was a peanut butter and jelly beer or peanut, whatever. I remember it.
Did you walk in with me that time? You said I brought. Like,
Yes,
did you come in with me that time?
I did.
Okay, so
That's why I knew the place because I went with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've done this more than once. So we've done our sushi thing, right? And like at least one time, I remember picking it up like just before I went.
Yes.
And I put it all in my cooler backpack with an ice pack in there, stuff like that. But I know at least one time you walked in.
I think it was the first time I walked in with you, and then I didn't. My only experience before this was Miller Lite that my dad and my grandfather drank.
God damn.
That was it.
Sitting in a garage with some hood open on a car with a carburetor hanging.
No. They weren't car people. They were foosball people. All right. Like, sorry, football. Sorry, I was making a reference to.
Like foosball tables?
No.
I don't know what you.
My mama said foosball is the devil.
Okay. I got
Water
it now.
boy. Come on now.
I got it now. Right. Hey. Well, you're using words that have meaning.
True, but
English teacher.
oh, I thought we were speaking in references. This whole time, you guys have been referring to ancient.
You got to throw
ancient stuff.
You got to throw Cajun. You got to throw my Cajun mama or something like that along with a foosball, where she says for the devil, like for the devil.
My mama said alligators are so grouchy all the time because they got all them teeth but nothing to brush them with.
That's because they got the notch medulla oblongata.
The best part is when he's in the 3-point stance and then he's envisioning the other guy. Gatorade. He's like, hey, H2O. Gatorade.
Dude. Oh man, can I just say though, as a big fan of the craft, Fairuza Balk, serious crush for me.
Is that the girl?
That's the girl.
Oh,
that's the girl.
That looks a little
Oh my goodness,
scared.
I have a crush on Fairuza Balk. I do. Mostly for the crap. The water boy, I mean, not so much. Nobody looks good in that movie. Not even Rob Schneider. But yeah.
That and the you can do it. You can do it. Oh no.
That's Rob Schneider. Yeah, that's a terrible movie. Don't watch that, boys and girls.
Watch it.
It's great. It's a classic.
I have, so since I started teaching roughly 5 years ago, I have rolled out the, tattoos. You want to know tattoos? I have Britney Spears as a mermaid on my left bicep. Okay. Just nod and smile. Okay. And I have Roy Orbison on my right butt cheek. I've told this to many kids. Not one of them gets it.
What is that from?
I don't know. Don't look at me.
A movie.
Dig deep and don't go back more than 15 seconds.
Is it an Adam Sandler movie?
It's from the Water Boy.
I'm trying to remember.
Roy Orbison, pretty lady, blah, blah, blah. It's on the freaking coach's butt.
Oh.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is.
All right,
there it is.
All right. You're right.
All right. Well,
Okay.
glad we settled that.
Okay. Now, can we finally come back to the esports topic? I'm ready. I've been sitting here patiently, riled up.
He's been going, hey, Howard, you're closer. Can you pat him on the head?
Yeah.
All right. So, talking about what was your argument again?
What? I will boil it down. I'll distill it. Like, okay, what good does it do for the kids?
It was okay.
And I can make a few of those arguments myself. I'm not saying it's completely useless, but I want you, the esports coach, to start us off, please.
So the same thing that Howard came up to me, right? He goes, so this is useless, right?
Control mechanism, we said.
Yeah, we have all of these kids saying toxic things online. Like I remember playing, I think it was Battlefield. You said you jumped into multiplayer once.
Yeah.
And it was just the worst experience you've ever had. Right? Yes. And we see these YouTube clips and these Instagram and TikTok reels of all these guys, these influencers, right? Saying the most toxic things, right? Yeah. But if we dismiss all of that and we go into controlled esports environments. Okay. You're a freshman in my class. All you know is toxicity, right? The first rule that I go is you are no longer allowed to do any of that.
Okay.
All right. I'm teaching you how to be a respectful digital citizen, right? Making sure that we are not going to BM what's called bad banners, right? We're not going to BM ourselves.
Is that a broadly used term?
Yeah. Well, for League of Legends, it is BM.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Bad manners.
Touche.
Yeah. So we're not going to BM ourselves, our team, or the opponents.
Okay.
Right? We're going to win with class. We're going to lose with class. Okay. Every start of the game is good luck, have fun.
Yep.
At the end of every game, win or loss is good game, well played. GG, well played.
I like it.
Okay. So that's the first thing that we talk about, right? So we teach them how to be a digital citizen. Okay. And then the next thing that we make sure that we do, okay, is we teach these kids that this is important because everyone has a negative stereotype when it comes to gaming. Everyone thinks that you're just a degenerate, right? If you think about the kids in your classroom that just play video games all the time, what do? They're just lazy. They're just going to rot their brain. They're going to play video games, right? So the main goal of my esports program is to say the minimum grade you're getting in all of your classes is a C. If we think about DOE standards, it's a D. To play any sport, you need a D or passing.
So you maintain a higher standard than our football team.
A higher than every sports team. Unless the coach changes it, and I don't know, right?
So is it up to individual coaches or is it DOE wide?
Well, I think it's DOE wide, but because I'm not officially, I'm just a club, I'm not an official sport.
Can we? I'm sorry, I don't want to take you off topic. Can we explore that just a little bit?
Yeah,
I'm actually kind of curious. So DOE sports or sanctioned
those are
sports,
sanctioned
right?
sports, like your traditional sports. You have football, you have water polo, golf, track and field.
Do you automatically get a percentage of the budget?
No, I don't get anything.
No. They.
Yes.
Let's talk about the contrast.
That comes with the athletic funds, right? So you got to buy new football pads, athletics. You got to buy transportation to go to your golf meets, athletics. Right, you need to all the equipment and everything like that is funded through the athletics budget.
So it's from the school.
Yes,
right. They pay for uniforms.
I guess school.
Yeah.
School. They pay for jerseys.
Okay.
Any sort of travel expenses, except if it's out of state. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think out of state you have to purchase it. You fundraise for that.
Right. Okay.
But basically, I sat down in my early days and I said, how much does it cost for you? How often do you replace football gear? And it's yearly.
No.
Yeah, I think so.
They're full of crap. They shouldn't.
I'm pretty
sorry.
Sure. Well, if it's not yearly, it's every few years, right? Three to five, right? I think helmets is yearly. Yeah. Shoulder pads, maybe not so much, but
it's begging your pardon. It's not because motorcycle helmets, just like military helmets, are, I believe, the good ones are carbon fiber. Okay. So carbon fiber weave is very different from a composite plastic hard case, okay? And so they're not, so like a motorcycle helmet taking, yes, but it's different. I don't know, okay, I don't want to step beyond my level of expertise here. Like I did not play football, but I played lacrosse. And I know that that's it's a dense polycarbonate, helmet, right? Because you're taking a lot of impacts, a lot of falls on the ground, a lot of like smashes, blah, 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 right? But with the case of Kevlar military helmets, and also I have a motorcycle license and blah, blah, blah. But after a crash, you got to replace that. Exactly correct, right? There's a difference between a weave, a layered cross weave thing, whether it's Kevlar or some other roughly equivalent fabric, construct, versus plastic, hard plastic, right? You do not need, I guess the bottom line is, the key takeaway, you do not need to replace a football helmet after every impact.
Oh, yes.
Right? After so many years of use, yeah, sure. Okay.
So I sat down, right? We talked about that and I said, well, I need 10 grand. I buy 5 computers. They're good for 10 years. You know, so
Shoots.
we've talked about all this stuff, but back to what we were talking about, right? So we have all of these these rules that we have to follow, and I try to instill on these kids. For example, a school beat us once in a certain game. I can't name the school or the game because people are going to be stalking us.
Fair enough.
They're going to DDoS us, and they said at the end, "You guys suck."
Wait, they said to you?
They said that to us. You guys suck.
And in what forum?
In chat, via chat. They said, you guys suck. Okay.
Tools.
Now, I told them, right? I said, did anyone respond? That was my first question. Did anyone respond? They said, no, we didn't. We just said, GG, well played. I said,
Good.
thank you.
Good.
Because if you guys responded, you're off the team.
All right. Well, and that's where you guys all put on black balaclavas and you go over to that campus in the early afternoon, just when the sun sets, and you puncture all their tires.
Yeah. So we make sure that we teach them how to be good people, basically, right?
Oh,
we try to defeat the stereotypes, right? But the main thing that I think convinced Howard is that I was also in band. I had a home. I knew what kids to hang out with. I knew where I could go, you know, like even if I wasn't feeling the wrestling kids at that certain time period, I didn't mesh with them. I knew I had a home with my riflery kids. I knew I had a home with my band kids. I had a home, right? But these non-traditional athletes, these esports kids,
Don't otherwise have that.
they don't have a home.
I get that.
Which is why that's the biggest thing is that these kids, if they're hybrid and they play other sports, congrats. They're in best of both worlds.
Yeah.
But if they're not and they're antisocial and all they know is sitting at home in front of a screen, you know, typing to people, talking to people that they have no idea. They could be like 45-year-old predators for all we know.
They often are.
Right.
Like, I mean, can I just talk my piece like from some of my mostly, but not exclusively, special education population, right? And they're online and they're doing games and they're different nature games, right?
Yeah.
Most of the students that I'm about to talk about, right, are looking for community, right?
Yes.
And they're not doing the active shooters, you know, they're not looking to kill everybody and do that, but they might be like farming games or Roblox or Minecraft or like whatever. And I don't even,
Animal Crossing, whatever.
I can't keep up. But, you know, I hear about, though, these kids, these very vulnerable kids, and they're telling me about their like digital mom. You know,
Yeah.
like literally, I hear about like, oh, you know, my relationship. I mean, in some of their college application essays, their personal statements, right? They're talking about the significance and the importance in their life of their virtual mom, and I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? And we don't know who these people are.
Yeah. Yeah, and so Mark has a good point about that. Like, these kids have a place to go, that they have a
Yes.
With real people.
esports, yes,
Yeah.
where they can sit in a physical space and say the person to my left and the person to my right are my teammates in this game right now. If I screw up, I'm letting them down.
And my esports coach is not a pedophile, and he's a reasonably decent person.
Yes. Definitely not a pedophile. Definitely not a pedophile.
that down
Let's
right
clarify that right now. Not a pedo. 100%. As for decent person, I do have a quote that will be stenciled
It's on the
permanently.
board. It's on
that
the board.
says,
It's
you
on
have
the
failed me for the last time. But yeah, so like it's, I just had this issue show up with social media, and I hate social media so much. An accidental post on our official Roosevelt esports page that was talking about another coach that, you know, a team, we beat them, right? And they said it wasn't anything negative. They just said, not gonna lie, that wasn't fun. Right? Because they just they just got they got destroyed.
Okay.
They got destroyed.
So
right? So it wasn't fun
to
for them.
play it. Okay,
and I said,
I get
okay,
it.
that's fine. And my students wanted to respond. I said, you better not. Say GG, well played. Thanks for the matches.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they did.
Yeah.
But there was a post, someone took a picture of it, posted it accidentally on our stuff that said, sounds like a skill issue. And I lit everyone up. I said, that better come down this instant,
Yeah.
because that is not what we stand
It's not
for.
sportsmanship.
This is what, it's everything about traditional sports is exactly the same in esports,
Right.
with the exception of the medium that we're participating in.
I agree with you 100%, except that let's recognize the generational change too. Now, Mark is a different generation than Howard and I. Howard and I are about the same age, and we're basically a generation, maybe a half generation older than Mark. And I don't want to speak on anyone else here's behalf. I'm going to put this out to the floor here, but I see that change in sports in general. Like when I was an athlete and I went to 3 high schools. I was a military brat, right? And 2 of them were private and 1 of them was public. And so there was definitely a difference, right? And I was a 3-sport athlete. And I should also point out too that my sports were not football, right? I do feel that football, basketball culture are a little bit different than what I did. I was mostly swimming, water polo, soccer, and lacrosse. Okay. Yes. Touche. Mm-hmm. It was. Well, because I was a USS swimmer, so I swam year round, right? And everything else kind of had to fall in line. Like I wanted to play football one year, and my parents were like, "Are you an idiot? Like you're a swimmer. You're a first place swimmer. Like you want it." And it was the same season.
What was your stroke?
Actually, it changed over time. Over time, I did everything. I did whatever they needed. Mostly, I was butterfly and distance free. But at times, like at one point I was on a team, again, 3 high schools, right? Yeah. I filled every, God damn it. You guys are just going to like run away with this one. I filled every hole. Have your fun. Have your fun.
That's like big about your struggles overhead.
Is there a better way? If there's a better way to say that, tell me.
One on top.
I filled every blank. So
position, Joe. I filled every position.
You don't call them positions though.
Yes.
Like it's not a position. No, all right.
I filled every stroke.
Yes. So I went
overhand,
double add, left, right. I could breathe on the right side. I could breathe on the left side. I could go underwater, whatever. But yeah, no, you know what? I knew this was going to happen. That's okay. I'm glad you know what? I'm glad that you guys are having your fun. But kidding aside though, like my weakest event was breaststroke in high school. In middle school, I was great at it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the bottom line is that like I did whatever they needed, you know, but so particularly the individual medley was great for me, you know, and then distance freestyle. I wasn't so much a sprinter, but coming back full circle. So yeah, I didn't come up so much in the trash talking culture. Those aren't really, you know, the sort of thing like, you know, basketball, football, you're staring down your adversary, you're looking at them, you're squaring up against them before every play, you know, and so like there's not a whole lot of trash talk, even in lacrosse. Like, you know, you talk a little bit of shit and stuff like that, but it's not quite the same. Yeah. So I came up, you know, call it what you will, gentlemanly sports. Okay. We shook hands before we squared off. Before we lined up on the blocks, you know.
The reason why, and I agree with you there, the reason why we don't have that in esports is because we have this thing.
Yeah. I got a handle. It's not my real name. It's not my real name.
Nope. I don't see you, so I'm gonna call you names. Whereas, you know, physical in-person sports is like, hey,
this is you. I'm looking you in the eye. And if I'm a bitch, I also might get called to task for that outside of the match too. Yeah.
And if there's a fight that's about to go down and you're right there, but normally it's, hey, nice job.
Right. Yeah.
But in esports, it's like, I don't know you. We're not friends. I've never seen your face, so I'm going to call you names. And I'm glad you handle it.
Me too.
I think that's kind of the way I switched to like, oh, well, for me, it's like disciplinary tool. Like, great. You want to be a little asshole in class? Mm-hmm. I'll call your fucking coach and pull your, I don't know, keyboard. Pull your mouse.
Pull your privileges.
Pull your privileges.
Yeah, like with the students who kept coming late to your class. Yeah. And I didn't know it was your class they were going late to, right? But as soon as you said, how come you're late? Oh, now I know why you're always late to my class, because you're in here playing Smash all the time. I said, that's it. Next time you're late to his class, you're done for the season. Right. Yeah, let's tell that was it.
To our listeners.
Yeah, smart kid, good kid.
Yeah, late to my last period of the day. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Why are you late? I said, I don't know. And finally, I just kind of like got fed up. So I walked over to your room. I was like, I was going to say hi to Mark. You're like, hey, what the fuck are you doing here? The bell rang. You be in class. Oh, okay. No, now, goddammit.
Yep.
Right now. And then you were respectful. You said, that's right. Mr. Kam said, go now.
Yep.
Right now.
100%.
And so now that I figured out that's one that I had to put together, I'm like, Mark, next time this fucking kid's late, I'm going to call you.
Yeah.
And then now he's never.
Because what is the main thing that everyone misses? They're student athletes.
Correct. Yeah, they keep forgetting the student.
Yes.
About this many times on this show. Like, the word student comes before athlete.
100%.
Get that.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they're getting into Stanford, like, to be fair.
No, I'm sorry. There's a difference.
What's the difference?
Stanford athletes, okay, this is anecdotal. All right. There are a few gymnasts that I've known. This is, by the way, my information is dated 25 years, right? It's old news, right? But there are a handful of Stanford athletes who are both. And then there are a lot of Stanford athletes who are the latter and coddled in the sense that the former.
See, and I think, well, I mean, I think that's doing such a disservice. Like every time I find out that I have students that are on the football team, I look them square in the eye, and I don't make a big deal in front of the class. I look them square in the eye, and I go up to them in their desk, and I talk in a soft manner, so maybe the person next to us can hear us if they're paying attention. And I say, "Are you that football player?"
Yeah.
Or are you this football player? Which one do you want to be? And they go, "Oh, yeah, no, I'm going to do my work." And I said, "Okay, well, you're going to show me. Your actions are going to prove to me what you are. Because guess what? Your coach is right outside my door right now. He's watching the campus." And I'm going to say, "Hey, you know this kid? Yeah, he ain't doing nothing."
Let me put this to you guys then. So again, for the listeners at home, I feel like we need to paint this dichotomy here. So Mark is an English teacher, and you teach gen ed. Correct me if I'm wrong. You don't teach honors or AP at this year,
Nope.
last year. Okay. So you get you get a cross section of our average student.
Yes.
Is that the best way to put it?
Yeah, I get the worst of the worst, and I get the best of the best sometimes.
You don't get the worst of the worst because, there's also special education, right?
Depends on what you classify as worst, though.
You're right. Worst and special education is not the worst necessarily, but
Yes.
it's in terms of a continuum. I would say that it would go from special educational resource to if you're talking about a continuum of abilities.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I also just want to make this clear very briefly for anybody who's listening at home. We do have a handful of special education students. I want to emphasize the fact that special education is not a measure of intelligence. It's a measure of learning aptitude and environment. And we have a number of special education students who are incredibly smart. They just work a little differently.
Yep.
They process information differently.
Yep.
And that requires different services. Right.
Yep.
And so of those students, I mean, again, I've had as a special education teacher, I've had some of the smartest kids at our public high school in the past couple of years. I have had them in my classroom. They require different things, though. They don't perform well in a noisy class of 30 kids, which is what Mark usually has. So having said that, though, you have our average kids bottom to top, let's say. Howard has, I would say, and I'm going to welcome you to put your 2 cents in.
I'm ready.
Motivated kids with technical inclinations.
Not the first year. So I teach 4 different levels. The first year is an introductory level where I just welcome everybody. So my second, third, and fourth year requires my signature to move on.
Okay. First year is what though? What's name your class?
This is a mixed bag. So it's a foundations.
Foundation. But again, Howard, I want to talk self-selection here. Foundations of coding. Most kids do not sign up for that. I would argue that you are teaching probably our top quarter of performers. You're either teaching, I don't want to say smarts because it's not necessarily about that, but of the kids who are motivated to do and learn computer related skills, you get those kids. You don't get our kid who just shows up and wants to get through high school.
Well, Mark currently has a kid like that is in our class, but there
are relatively few of those, all right? I would say, if I can, that the motivation of your kids is much higher than average because that is an elective that is relatively specific. It is also not exclusive to, but rather caters to kids who are academically and intellectually inclined to do more. Dude, you're in coding.
Yeah.
Most kids don't sign up for that, right?
But I have a lot of sped kids that want to apply to.
You don't have a lot. You have some.
But I got some.
You have some.
I have a lot of local kids that show up to it. Like, whatever, I'll take them.
No. And I'm not, okay, I don't want to say that you're exclusionary because you're not. It is not, for the record. Any kid can sign up for especially 1, right? Now, 2, 3, and 4, it requires your approval, right?
Because they need to see or better.
Right. Hey, no complaints. But I'm just saying that in terms of selection bias, right, only our most motivated kid, no slacker is going to sign up for your class. No kid Okay, time out. I see both of these guys. By the way, I'm reading their expressions right now. They both want to chip in.
I'm Team Howard.
You guys, you guys. I know you guys both. You're thinking about specific individuals, and obviously there are going to be those few, right? But no kid who just wants to show up and play football and get through high school is going to sign up for a freaking coding class. Tell me I'm wrong.
If you're talking about a coding class, no, I've had football players in my class.
I think,
of course. Hey. Let's not. Okay, I want to just be crystal clear. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with a motivated. There are motivated football players. Okay, like I'm not. Well,
let him spin his wheel. He's like a hamster. Let him spin his wheel.
That's right. This hamster's about to have a heart attack here, but it's still going. Okay, but
he's a few beers in.
And hey, do you guys remember where this Japanese whiskey started?
Started half. Maybe 3/4.
No, it started at my neck. You sure what
really? It started on.
That's where it started.
Okay, no,
that's where it started.
In whiskey and beers.
I guess what I'm driving at, okay, is that there is that in just as my example of a Stanford student athlete, right? That there is absolutely room for scholar athletes, okay? But is that the norm of what we're actually talking about, okay? Now, Mark, you've made an interesting comparison between your esports athletes and quote unquote conventional sports athletes. Right. And I think that within that too, though, there's this amazing discrepancy. If I took my average, I'm sorry to say it, if I took my average swimmer and I pitted it against the average football player, we're going to have a difference.
Yeah.
We're going to have a discrepancy, right? I remember when I was in college, and I won't say where, I got recruited to the water polo and the swim team. And they told me that our water polo team, I swear to God, this was the sales pitch. They said, dude, I know, we know your high school record and stuff like that. We want you to play for us, okay? We have the highest GPA of any water polo team in the country. When have you ever heard that as a sales pitch for an athletic team? Not once.
Never.
And it was a division. It was a good school.
Yeah.
Division III school. Okay. Right. No scholarship money, no nothing. And they're like, yeah, we want 2 hours a day, 6 days a week. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, nah, I'm done. No, thank you. Like, I respect your GPA. Yeah. That's awesome. No, thank you. But different sports, I think, have different levels of academic interest. And I know Howard's going to say like, Joe did all the white guy, blah, blah, blah sports. I mean, swimming, water polo, lacrosse, and soccer is arguably different. Okay. I would say the football culture is not at all academically aligned.
Yeah. But like, if you think about what the purpose of high school, of schooling, public education is, right?
Ooh, I love this.
Isn't the whole purpose of standard-based education a group of standards that say, hey, if you are able to master all of these standards, you will be a functioning adult post-high school?
More or less, yeah.
Right? So if it doesn't matter if you were the next, I don't know, professional football player names or whatever, the next GOAT of any
Jerry
sport.
Rice, I hear he's good.
I know that's an old name, damn it. I know that. Hey, I also know that name.
Rest in pieces.
So,
rest in pieces.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if you are the next best player of all time. If you are not paying attention to an English class, right, and you're reading at a 4th grade level and you're graduating high school, right, you are going to be at a disadvantage, whatever, because you're not going to play football until you die. Unless you have an unfortunate accident.
HISTEC exam. Do you remember the HISTEC?
I don't.
So in the state of Hawaii, when I graduated, it was like in the 90s.
Is this having or not having a uterus?
Yeah, similar, right? Like you had to have knowledge.
Sorry, my bad.
So the HISTEC was this United States.
Okay.
But HISTEC was this exam that you were required to take, and it was a general knowledge exam, and you could not graduate until you got a passing score on the HISTEC.
I didn't grow up here. Is this SBA related or no?
No, this was.
I think it was, this has to be before because I don't know.
90s, because they did away with it in like the mid 90s, and I was one of the last years to take it. So you had to take a written.
Broke the system. That's right.
Yeah. Is it because you're Chinese?
They make a different test for that.
He's not Japanese. No, he's not.
But so you had to pass this exam. So you had to pass this exam, and if you failed, you did not graduate high school. You had to pass a general competency exam.
I don't disagree with that concept. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, because
it's called a GED, though.
It doesn't make sense to me, right? Like, how many times have we heard I'm going to be a professional football player?
Oh my God.
You know what it
is now, though? I'm sorry, man. You know what? No, yes.
It's a social,
yes.
it's an influencer. I want to be an influencer.
Influencer.
Right?
And dude, I'm sorry. As a special education teacher, right? I see this all the time. Okay, if a kid plays sports, it's professional football. And if a kid doesn't play sports, it's influencer.
Yes.
I am fucking sick of it. I'm over it. My God, I'm sorry. Somebody needs to explain these kids that the professional money making TikTok aspect, your percentage of success
likelihood, yeah,
is about the same as playing pro ball.
Yes, because it's been so diluted.
Yeah.
But also, if you think about it, right? If I wanted to start from nothing, right? Because for the longest time, ever since streaming video games became a thing, I said, before I die, I will stream. And I had aspirations to be a big streamer because it was just starting when I got into, when I post high school, streaming was just starting. And I said, wow, I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna buy a computer, I'm gonna have good internet, I'm gonna do all this stuff, right? But they don't understand that once you get to a certain point, you have to understand, okay, wait, what is it that consumers want?
Yep.
What time, how much do I need to invest in this? When do I start making money? There's so much more that high school can teach you to be successful versus I'm just going to be like, hey, you know what? Let me just sign up for OnlyFans and sell my feet.
If your feet were good looking, you might have a chance at it.
Let's talk about this podcast for a hot second. So I have two things.
This one?
This one.
Wait, are we doing a podcast right now?
I think we are.
Is that what this thing in my face is all about?
100%.
Jesus Christ! I honestly thought that I was here for a dental exam. I thought that
Stop putting in your mouth. Stop putting in your mouth.
I thought someone was going to put a.
All of the sounds have been edited out.
Sensitive. Wow.
My YouTube channel.
I'll stop sucking on it now.
Stop. You definitely. Oh, I gotta watch.
Use lie.
So I have like 1,600 subscribers on the YouTube channel. I don't give a shit. I like my sisters go, you have.
Dude, you have 1,600 subscribers?
Yeah.
Mark,
you're welcome.
We're off the hook, dude. Fucking, I'm going home.
Wait.
Oh wait.
I use it to show students like coding videos and whatnot. And they're like, oh, how much money do you make? I'm like, nothing.
Yeah.
Why not? Because I need 4,000 plus hours and all this. I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do that. So this is fun for me. Let me finish. And then so they go, well, you have a podcast, Mr. Kam. I'm like, uh-huh. And how many listeners?
How are you not rich?
I have a couple hundred subscribers to the podcast, but and so they look at my stats. I got 1,800 listens.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, wait, you don't make money? I'm like, no. But the mics that we're all using, I fucking paid for all this.
Right.
Yes.
But
Yep.
the kids think that with that number of subscribers, you got to be rich.
No.
Right?
Yeah, right. So they think, oh, I'm going to do that too. It's like, okay, well, tell you what, take $3,000 and then buy equipment. I go, I don't have $3,000. Well, then go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Because all the shit's expensive. I go, all the cameras I have, all the lights I have, I paid for that. Boards, I paid for that. But I do it because it brings me joy.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me happy to do it. I just like doing it. I love being with my friends and drinking fucking Hinomaru and getting a little weird about it and then just drinking and having
I feel really bad about this because I was going to say it's because he's not pretty enough for video, but
not pretty enough. So that's perfectly fine.
I thought your YouTube channel was doing very well with your videos in person. Just an FYI. You're welcome.
you're an attractive.
Didn't you have like a
You have an
let's
intensity.
cook with me or something? Yeah. Costco foodery. Yeah.
I have thousands of views on it. I think one of the stupidest videos I made was about the bucket in the well by this Buddhist princess.
What is this now?
He used to buy food from Costco and eat it and give his review on. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like thousands and thousands
Really?
of views.
Well, apparently you're prettier than I thought.
But I don't give a shit. And I keep telling the kids, I don't fucking care because I go, what's your hobby? They're like, I love playing videos. Like, cool. I don't do that. This is my hobby.
Right.
Yes.
This is my fun. But I spend money on it because I have a job. I went to college for that. Right?
Yeah.
And so, but no, this is just a fun thing to do. And they're like, oh, you can do it.
Yeah.
What?
What's right? And
Yes.
I had this kid, and let's go back to the football thing. So, and he graduated. So I'm going to say his name. His name's Kingston. And he's a smaller kid, like 5'7".
He graduated 2 years ago. I hate that kid.
We'll talk about that in a second. And he goes, I'm going to play football professional. Like, dude.
I know, right? He's 5'9" and 150 pounds. Good luck playing pro ball.
I could shove you over with 2 fingers.
Exactly.
So I go, let me ask you something. What makes you think you're going to play pro ball? He goes, I'm fast and good. I'm like, okay.
But
Wait, Joe.
you got it. You got it.
Compared to a 6'1" Texas kid who's been playing
Thank you.
football since he was 3.
Exactly.
motherfucker, you're going to get stoned.
Who has like Viking DNA.
Yeah. I go, this kid, this corn-fed kid has been playing football since he could walk.
Who trained dragging hail bays of hail. But what? Hey,
bales.
God damn it.
Basil. Lots of basil. This guy went to the spice market with rosemary and thyme and basil.
But this kid has been working out and training 7 days a week.
Yep.
Every single day, all the way to high school.
Yep.
And he still can't make it.
And yep.
What makes you, stoner kid, barely passes school, who likes to run away from school all the time,
Yep.
doesn't work out? I watched you work out one time and you were lazy about it. You're not fucking getting anywhere. It's like, get fucking real. Holy shit, are we being way too loud?
No, we're okay for now. I think.
Wait, is this the same one?
That's
This is volume
the
4.
number 4, bro.
So
we did the number 6.
How does number 4 compare to number 5?
Fucking fine, no.
Okay, all right.
Like we just said, I don't know what the series are all about. We're gonna look into that after the show.
Okay. So damn it, I lost my train of thought. I was gonna
We're talking about so
Yeah.
our kids who think that they're very well suited to one of a handful of things. And I wanted to say, Howard, like I appreciate the wisdom you're giving your kids, obviously. But I think that somebody needs to like hammer between their eyes the idea that you were touching on there is that, you know what, you might think that you're hot shit for our football team in, I mean, what do we normally finish, Mark, in high school football rankings in Hawaii?
I have no idea.
So, I mean, we're not top. Middle, no, we're middle.
I think we're pretty
middle
good. I think we're middle high.
top,
maybe.
yeah, top third, perhaps. Okay, but right. So, but I mean, this is the thing though. I'm like, I like your approach about like saying, okay, well, in order to do this, you're going to have a certain basically minimum capital, right? You got to buy this stuff to make yourself successful. Well, I don't want to undermine your point, and I wouldn't do it in front of the kids and stuff like that. But honestly, I think that a lot of influencers are pretty successful with an iPhone and a tripod, right?
Yeah.
They set that thing up, they do their dance, they do their whatever. But it's the differentiation between the top performers and the everybody else. That's it, right? And it's like monetizing social influence is something I almost think that we should do a class on. We should have that. You know what? All kidding aside, I'm sorry, it just hit me right now like a lightning bolt to the head. We should have that as an advisory class lesson. And for anybody listening at home, advisory is this thing where our kids do about once every 2 weeks, and they do it for 4 years, and they get a half credit. And as I tell my advisory kids who are now juniors, it's a raw deal. I mean, they got to keep this thing up. It's pass fail. They don't have to do amazing work for me and stuff like that, but it's meant to prepare them for the real world. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And by the way, I'm sitting opposite two gentlemen who traditionally work together.
Yes,
Mark and Howard, and they are
good cop, bad cop, 1 times 1,000.
Yeah, collectively we call you guys asshole. Asshole 1, asshole 2. Yeah. No, they're hilarious. They are funny. I know this from working with you once upon a time. I've never worked with you. No, I know, but that's not the point.
Well, no,
Fuck's
but
sake.
if you think about it, right?
I'm cussing. You guys have me cussing.
Here
it is.
Their
If we have
transition.
students who listen to this, we're gonna have to bleep this out.
But wait a minute, right? If their transition, the whole point of that end of 4-year graduation interview is to prove that you are capable of functioning outside of high school, which goes back to our original agreement. And the best part about our quote unquote interrogation,
You guys are brutal.
is we use the GLOs, the vocabulary, the standards from the state
They're awful.
for seniors.
They're terrible.
Let me explain.
Okay, wait, can we reverse for a sec? Actually, I just want to talk about the streaming for a little bit because like I said, I wanted to stream, right? So I actually put some money, and it wasn't a lot, like $20. I bought a cool transition thing, like I got fired in my transitions. I have a streaming
Wait,
program
transitions
that I do.
what?
In between scenes, like my lobby scene versus my game scene.
Oh, sorry, game stream.
Yes, stream.
sorry.
Okay,
Catching
so I have
up.
all of this stuff, right? And I set up a schedule that I agreed upon with my wife. I was going to give up 3 days a week for 2 hours. And that's not a lot. That's 6 hours a week, right? I mean, it's less than a part
day.
Well, yeah, true, right? But it's compared to people who are streaming 16 hours minimum, right? These professional streamers.
That's the point, though. Do you want to compare yourself to them, or do you want to have a cottage industry?
Those are the guys that are making the money, right? So I started off 2 hours every three days, right? Or give or take whatever I said, right? And at the end of a year, full year, I made about $100. Oh. On average, I had at least 5 to 7 viewers. Okay? At least at the peak, like the very peak, and this was because I put on a coaches versus players esports event. So I had people from around the state viewing, right? At peak, I had 50 plus maybe, give or take. Exactly, right? But I didn't care because this is something that I wanted to do on the side. But as I started doing it for a year and I realized I was giving up 6 hours a week of my time to get paid pennies per hour, right? To make $100 a year, I realized, well, this has to be more of a, I'm a for fun, like, hey babe, can I stream today? I just feel like streaming for fun, right? Like no one, and to bring to the point, no one is gonna watch a shitty player, right? Yeah. I would put myself statistically, if I were to Google my rank statistics League of Legends, I am top 2%. Nice. Right? Like that's when I last checked maybe a year ago. I'm top 2%, right? Out of the ranking system. But nobody watches top 2. They watch the top 0.5. They watch the pros. They watch the people who are at the peak rank all the time. They watch the people who are so belligerently toxic that it's funny. You know? Like Dr. Disrespect. Right? See, he has both things. He's super good, right, at what he does. He's extremely disrespectful, which comes across as like, yeah, like that's his brand, right? But the kids like that because they're keyboard warriors, right? And then there's been videos of him doing how much does my streaming setup cost, and it's thousands. Yeah. Granted, that matches, right? Thank you. Yeah. That is paid off because water, so we can make it safely till tomorrow. He makes more than 1,000 in his streams, whatever, because he has all these subs, he has all these views, whatever. But like, these kids are so disassociated from unless you are literal the best, no one cares about you. No one cares.
And yet they all think they can make money doing it.
And they all think that they can do it. Okay, so back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, what we're talking about.
I think it was the use of Iran. I think it was Iranian drones versus the Iron Dome of Israel.
How much it being streamers and
No, after that. We're talking. What were you talking about?
Well, but basically, I was talking about like the likelihood of success, you know, and like we have like the football players.
Advisory.
I think
PTP. You were talking about PTP. There we go.
I give up.
There you go. Yes, you're talking about PTP and what we do.
Transition plan.
Yep.
So what Mark and I do is we set up this system where I bring in a camera.
No, I don't want to talk about you guys because you guys are trash.
Fuck that. We film them. We set up the lighting perfect, so it's all.
I turn off all the lights in my classroom, and Howard has like a spotlight.
Yeah, no, I saw that episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Picard is captured by the Cardassians, and how many lights do you see? He knows what I'm talking about.
I have no idea.
Howard is cracking up right now because he's like, yes, that's it. And Mark's like, nah, but it sounds like a good idea.
Mark and I do not allow them to sit.
Nope.
They must stand.
Nope.
But you
go. I'm so mad at you guys.
No. Before that, we read. I spent the day reading every single statement in every.
I do that too.
And to give some context,
I do that too.
Right? To talk about student ability, right?
Yeah.
My experience as an English teacher, it doesn't take me a whole day to read these personal statements. But Howard, you take your time with it, right? Because it's different.
Very bad weed.
Right? I mean, Howard and I have talked about our differences in approach to these things, but the fact is, no. I'm trying to not throw Howard onto the bus right now, okay? All right. So what I'm saying is, like, we are prime examples of two different people with two different learning styles being successful because we have adhered to a certain level of educational awareness, I should say, and proactiveness when it comes to our education. Okay, yeah. So go ahead with your PTP.
My goal of the PTP was to make it difficult, and what we specifically requested was the worst of the worst students,
like the class cutters and the failures and the problem childs.
Right, because we see ourselves as the instrument of revenge for these teachers who have been dealing with these kids for 4 years. But more importantly, and hold on now, that Joe's like jumping out of his shit.
No, I heard the words. I heard no. I'm not cheering. I'm not toasting that. What you just said, I'm not the worst of the worst. We're gonna make life difficult.
Like I said,
no.
good cop, bad cop, because I think of I think of myself as their last chance to be humans post graduation.
For Christ's sake, I'm a special education teacher.
I will start shotgunning questions right off the bat.
I know.
Then they're done speaking, like, you said this in your statement, and then you said that. I remember, I'll never forget one kid. I go, when did you write this? When did you write your senior personal statement? He goes, oh, I wrote it. I go, did you revise it? Did you look at it? He goes, yes, I read it and I wrote it. I'm like, okay. Well, anyway, why does it say you? I'm 14. And the kid's like, huh? It says right here on your statement, I'm 14. So you wrote this in your freshman year.
Have not touched it since. Mm-hmm. I get that.
And so I think in our last one, our last PTP interviews where we filmed it, I was very clear with these kids, and I said, look, you have these terrible jobs right now. I told them, sure, one kid, I won't say his name. I told him, like, nobody fucking cares about you. Nobody gives a shit about the job that you're in. Nobody gives a shit about you. Nobody cares about you. The only person that cares about you is you. And we want you to be successful. The only way you're going to do that is to take some personal fucking responsibility and do it. That's it. End of story. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Here's where one of the levels, I'm sorry, that I object. And I'm sorry. I mean, I have a different philosophy than you. Do you have a relationship with that kid? You never met this fucking kid. No. Right. No,
but
what does a kid confronted with a reception like that, an interview like that, and advice like that, what is his takeaway going to be? It's going to be like, fuck that guy.
Okay. So in response to that, right, if you are going into any job level interview,
right,
it could be McDonald's, it could be Tesla, it could be Google.
Exactly.
You have no relationship with them.
Exactly.
So if you're coming up and you're saying, oh, here's my resume, but I didn't touch my resume in 5 years, right?
Right.
Your expectation should be to fail that interview.
Right. No, I don't disagree. Okay, on many principles. Mm-hmm. Okay, like I love both of you guys, and I like the way you guys operate. I've worked with you before, Howard. I've very much eschewed working with you because you're terrible. But
and he has a shitty looking classroom too. The shittiest classroom on campus.
It is an amazing classroom. It is an amazing classroom.
You've never been there, don't lie.
No. I go in there for sixth period with Charlene and who else is usually hanging? JC is usually hanging in there. It is the hangout spot.
The inner sanctum.
I carpeted twice I have gone in there and I've been like, oh my God.
You take your shoes off?
No, not
and I've been like, you don't take your shoes off?
I've been like, why? You know why? Because I can't get too comfortable because I'm going to stay forever because it's that nice.
It is.
He's like,
yeah.
No, everyone there, those three teachers, including Howard, but like those other two like precious teachers, right? Were like, oh, why don't you stay? And I'm like, because I got work to do, god damn it. Like, oh my God, this is nice. You guys do this every sixth period? Yeah. You guys actually do this? Like the last time I was in there, actually, it's kind of funny. Like Howard knows this, right? But I was actually looking for a very specific part and our man accommodated me like a champ, okay? Because Howard is our career and technical education chair. And so in other words, he is the department chair, essentially. Well, tell it better.
I'm not a department chair. I have no title, but I know.
Well, there you go. So the guy knows how to get stuff done. So in other words, he's doing way more than he should have to do for not enough money, which is pretty much the definition of being an educator these days. Yes, but I went over there and it was kind of funny because it was a student of mine who I'm the astronomy club advisor, faculty advisor. And we got a couple of donated telescopes and I was trying to loan one out for the weekend. And I realized that it had a broken tripod leg. It didn't have a freaking bolt. That was it. It was simple as hell until you don't have it, right? It was a very simple thing to fix if you have the right part, and we didn't. And I went over to Howard, and Howard actually, to his great credit, dropped everything he was doing. He's like, let's go solve this problem. And so we went around, first of all, to the shop classes, and he interrupted, I don't know that nice gentleman's name because I don't work with him.
John.
Yeah. And so he was
farm
like,
guy.
Yeah. Another man bun, white guy man bun, as opposed to Hawaiian guy man bun.
True.
Who's sitting across from me.
Yeah.
And and he tried and stuff like that, and he didn't have it, and he tried. And this is another great thing about working at that school. Like, I gotta say, like, we got a lot of really, really good people, and so they were all trying to do this, and this is all to benefit the kids. And so Howard then walks me. Did you walk me downstairs or direct me downstairs? Yeah. So we went down to Chief Connors of the JROTC program, and Chief Connors is an amazing dude. Also is our robotics team advisor, faculty advisor. And so he goes looking in his vast collection of miscellaneous parts, and Connors found me the exact damn thing that I needed. It was awesome. And so we were successful. We got that. And so we got this telescope in good order to be lent out to a kid for spring break. Actually, that was the Friday before spring break. I had like an hour to pull all this stuff together because she wanted to borrow it and stuff like that. And so we made that happen. What the hell was I talking about?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. We just started. But we went from PTP to like, I didn't work with Mark. I mean, I worked with Mark, but I didn't work with Howard. But let me just shower Howard with accolades.
So I had
Howard's over here like, yeah, give it to me. Give it to me, baby.
I'm gonna step all the way back then. So Mark and I have actually co-taught together, but it's been a minute. It's been like 3 years, 4 years.
Yep.
In fact, Mark and I have talked a couple times about the fact that when we were teaching these kids during COVID, the height of COVID, we actually, I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but I know that we've said this together. We actually can't even recognize some of these kids out and about town.
No.
Because they were wearing masks
the whole time.
We would take them off online, so I'm pretty confident that all of our kids know what we look like.
Yeah.
But I see these kids periodically, and like some of our top students, I don't know what they look like because they were wearing masks the entire time. And especially some of our kids, they got the standard like haircut and whatever, like the bowl cut or whatever.
Yeah.
And that space between the top of the mask and the bottom of the forehead with a bowl cut.
Yeah. This kid after his mask is off, you're like, Jesus Christ.
Exactly right. One of the weirdest things is that I always assume somebody's face is fuller. Because they're wearing the mask, right?
Yeah.
And just that's my thing. Is like when I see them without it, I'm like, you got a weak chin.
You should see as when they take their yearbook photos, dude. And I'm like, whoa, you look like that, but I can't say anything.
Yes.
Right? And I'm just like,
That's
I
exactly
almost want to
it,
tell the photographer, like, can you tell them to put their mask back on?
That's not the face I know, though, right?
Yeah. All people did, like, when they see in public, they go, hey, so-and-so, I'm not going to say your last name. Hey, so-and-so, they look at me, hey, Mr. Kam, like, who are you?
Yeah.
Dude, that has literally happened to me. And like many times, and I've kind of turned it into a joke a little bit. Like, I have juniors this year that I had in English in 9th grade. I do. And like every now and then, if I'm cool with the kid and if I know them and stuff like that, I'm like, do me a favor, please. Like, after 3 years of knowing you, please just take a deep breath, take your mask off, and just show me. Because if you were to see me at Al Moana right now or whatever, I would not know you. And that actually happened to me. And it wasn't you. It was I was co-teaching with John last year.
Okay.
We had a sophomore, and she is good friends with a girl in my astronomy club. And she came out to an event that we did at the Bishop Planetarium, and she's transferred now to Punahou. Awesome.
Damn, nice.
Love that. No,
Okay.
Amazing kiddo. Okay. And I'm so happy for her that she's at a really good institution.
Remind me to talk about that Punahou afterwards.
Yeah. But anyway, so the funny thing is, I did not know the friend network thing, right? And so we, the Roosevelt Astronomy Club, set up this thing, and we said, hey, they're hosting it at the Bishop Planetarium. Let's go, right? I'll buy pizza. And Miss Summers came along, and she was fantastic, right? And so we set this thing up. We had about 10 kids turn out. But there's this kid, and she looks kind of familiar. She's tall. What do you need?
Your Siri is on. Siri is listening to everything that you're
saying. I turned her off. She can do whatever she's gonna do.
She's gonna be like, "What you said, motherfucker?"
But this kid, and it was, well, anyway, this kid. So like, it's a little awkward. I haven't seen her in a year, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, "Mr. Mack, it's me." And I'm like, "Are you?" And I got her name right, but it was a near damn.
Yeah.
It was a near thing because it was, honestly, if I'm not lying, it was her height.
Yeah.
I got a Chinese girl who's about 5'9" with bangs. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, I do know who that is, right? But I never once saw her face without a mask.
See, the gesture I was making earlier is I used to take my palm and like just kind of hold it between like cover your nose and your mouth. Like, oh, yeah, there you go.
It's a pretty good tool.
I had one student who was like, oh, don't you remember? You taught me for English 9. This was post-OS, right? I said,
yeah.
When was that? And they're like, it was when we were hybrid, and I said, yeah, no. Like, I mean, and you know me, I pride myself in remembering their names.
Oh, absolutely.
I would say day 2, I have her name memorized in my class. Like, I'm super good about it because I don't want to be that one guy who, you know, like makes you feel that you're not. My whole educational philosophy is to make you feel seen as a student. You're not just someone who comes into my classroom, sits down and gets taught. Like, you're an individual that I see. And then I prepare you for the outside world.
Well, that was our kid too. That was. I mean, I'm going to say her first name, Jackie, right?
Oh, yeah.
And the funny thing is, you know, she wore a mask, and Jackie was a great kid, right? She was a little quieter freshman year, right? Yeah. This is a student that Mark and I have run into outside of stuff. Negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A.
Quadratic formula, bro.
There we go.
Okay. So back to Puno, right? So you know how?
Let's go.
Yeah.
So wait. Where do we jump back in? I honestly don't know.
So
I saw you pushing buttons, but I don't get it.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. So we're talking about Puno, right? And you said that the student doesn't go here and got into Puno, okay?
Right.
And
so in her junior year, so she was a sophomore at our school.
Yeah.
Went to junior at Punahou, and I'm so proud of her. I think that you can get an excellent education out of school. I
100%.
think that we have a great school. We are the top performing public high school in the state. I'm very proud of that. And I'm proud to be here, and I'm proud of what we do. At that same time, this kid was achieving on all fronts.
Yep.
And I think that there are better opportunities at that school.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
So what made me think about that is like the way that Howard and I teach are similar, but different. Like how we say in Pidgin, same, but different, right? Like we both have different approaches, right? You know, like swearing in my class is completely banned. I hate when people swear.
I don't allow it either.
Yeah, the kids need to learn how to express themselves without using profanity first. Once you know how to express your feelings, like normally, then whatever, you can do whatever you want.
See, swearing is an uneducated mind.
That's fine. Yeah. So
Vonnegut, Kurt Vonnegut said something along those lines, right? He was like, I honestly, I'll never be able to remember the exact quote, but I know that later in his career and stuff like that, he would literally draw phalluses in his notebooks and blah, blah, blah. But the point was, if you can't express yourself without profanity, then you're not a very effective communicator. But once you know the tools, not unlike Picasso, actually. Picasso, I believe, once, again, paraphrasing extensively, said that I was born knowing how to paint like a master. It took me years to learn to paint like a child, right? And so yes, like profanity is a very valuable tool, but only if you use it
correctly,
strategically.
Yep.
Right.
So my classroom style of teaching, I would classify as unorthodox, right? Like I put a lot of agency on the students, and if they fail, like, of course, if everyone fails, my fault, right? But if one student fails, chances are they just didn't do the work. Okay. So I got this opportunity to teach at Punahou Summer School, Pueo program, right? So I was able.
When was this?
This past summer.
Okay.
This past summer. And the Pueo program is specifically for public school students, not overachievers. They're looking at the middle range, the D to B range. That's their like requirements, is they're not overachievers. They're in the middle of the pack, and we want to make sure that they get a better education so that way they can move to the A range. Okay?
So what gets them in there? What's the selection process?
There's a whole application. They got to interview, they got to submit stuff, and they start from elementary school, and it's a commitment every summer until they graduate. So it's a huge time. It's not like I'm going to just do summer school 1 year. It's like a full on summer school regiment, right?
So it's parental selection, right? I mean,
yeah,
because like
in the beginning,
mom and dad have to put them in there.
Yes, yeah. So there's an application process, right? So, anyways, I get the opportunity to go ahead and teach there, and these kids, it's completely empty, sir. I finished it just for you. Yeah.
Wait, the program is completely empty?
No, the beer is completely empty.
He's supposed to
right? And the steak plate is almost empty too, man. You ain't keeping me from that. Yeah, well, I'm just saying. We're out. So I had an opportunity to teach there, and these are kids that I didn't know. There was maybe 2 students from Roosevelt in the program that I knew of. A few other Roosevelt students, right? But majority came, people I don't know. They came from all walks of life. There was a commitment Kamehameha school student there, Castle. We had everyone. We had Kahuku. We had literally everyone.
The middle range of different public schools.
Yes, and it was supposedly like just random people that we didn't know. So I had this student from Castle, and I'm never gonna forget this. I got the email in school, and it took everything in my willpower not to burst into tears reading this email. Okay, like ugly man cry. Like I just found out my wife is pregnant. Maybe you're crying out of happiness or something like that. Like it was. I don't know how that feels right now. So that's my level of, for those of you who have experienced that, I might be overplaying it, but this kid is from Castle, and I grew up in
Howard's had that call from his wife 2 times. I'm pregnant, and both times he said,
So this kid, and I grew up in Kaneohe. I knew the stereotype of kids that went to Castle, right? Unfortunately, I went to private school my entire life, right?
Can you please articulate it for those of us who didn't grow up on island?
Okay, so basically, Castle is spelt like the building Castle, Castl. Wait, I had to make sure.
English teacher, ladies and gentlemen.
Howard, scratch that shit right now. I was double checking myself before I made a fool. All right,
Double check chest too. Same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
You're on multiple beers.
Castle.
I was confusing myself because the joke about Castle High School is it's spelled Kasso, Castle.
So
Okay.
I like it. Wait, Casso?
No,
or is there
Kasso, Castle. Okay.
Not even German, but okay.
No. So what I'm saying, and I did a observation there when I was becoming a teacher, right? I got placed into Castle. The school climate is not good. They don't value. I feel like they don't. Oh hell no. There's a big ass roach that's gonna fly.
Sorry, you grew up where?
Where'd it go?
Oh my God! All of the yellow and brown and Hawaiian people are like freaking out because it's a flying roach.
I'm ready. I got my Scott in my hand right now.
My
Come at
God.
me, you fucker, right now. Let's go, bro. I'm from Kaneohe. Yeah, lick that fucker right now, Howard. Howard, lick that fucker right now.
The slip is off.
Yeah, you.
If you want to put, oh my goodness!
You missed. How you missed?
All the Hawaiian comes out. I got him, yo. I got him. Ladies and gentlemen, at home.
That was to fix her mic. Yeah.
I would call that one. Okay. If we can like keep our egos in our pants.
No.
It was a 2.5 inch, maybe 3.
That was like a 3. That was a big one. That was a big one.
Dragon.
That was a big one.
The Jabberwock with its eyes of flame came whiffling through the Tolgi wood and burbled as it came.
Yes.
1, 2, 1, 2, and 2 and through. The slipper plane went nick or nack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back.
So-
and hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy, and frabjous day, Kalu Kalei, he chortled in his joy.
Right. Okay. So going back to my story, right? So I know that Castle has they don't really like. I was sitting in a 9th grade English class, and I could tell by the vacant stares of these kids that they didn't appreciate what was happening. Right? They was like, I gotta go to school. Right? So I know that this kid is in Castle. He's in my Punahou program, right? And I looked at him. I said, "How come you're not at Punahou?" And he goes, "Oh, what you mean? I go to Castle. I'm from Kaneohe." I said, "And
Long
he goes,
bus ride.
He goes, "What? You think I'm good enough to?" And super moke, right? All pigeon. You think I'm good enough to go school here? And I said, "Of course. As a matter of fact, you tell me you want here, I will personally prep you for the interview, and I'll help you write your admissions essay to make sure that you get in." And I was like, I was completely supportive of this kid because I'm from Kaneohe. Right? I want to see the people get out and get their success stories. And on top of that, he was a part of the Valorant esports team that took first, and Castle barely wins anything. And they took esports by storm. So he had
the last 2 years.
yes.
Valorant.
So he had me double, right? Home where I was raised, and he's in esports. So I want to make sure this kid succeeds twice as much.
Cool.
Right? So I get an email. Long story short, I get an email. He says, "You know what, Kumuke, I actually did apply for Punahou, and I didn't get it. But that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is you taught me a valuable life lesson not to give up and to always stand back up when I don't get things my way. And I said, and I'm sitting there reading this email. Bro. It's like a full paragraph. And I'm like, dude, I'm gonna cry right now. Like, I'm teaching 9th grade in the middle of my grammar lesson, and I'm about to cry right now. And I was like it's one of those, like, you know, you expect them to win at the end of the movie, but they didn't. But he was like, you know what? It doesn't matter, because what you taught me, I'm never gonna forget.
Dude, that's a Rudy. That's a, you know, hey, you know, like, yeah, a kid who, high school is not the end of their story.
Yes.
High school is not the end of the story.
But that's why Howard and I teach the way that we do, is because these kids need that swift kick in the ass.
No,
to say,
you know, when it comes to interviewing, you guys are just assholes. You know,
no, well, they do.
Can I ask a direct question? So, like, about this kid you described, what about Cam?
I would have helped him there too, but we were at Punahou, and he said, "There's no way I make it here to Punahou." I said, "That's bullshit."
Well, I mean, I hate to say it, like there's a hierarchy, right? But like the boy, I'm asking this from not knowing, right? Mm-hmm. The boy you described, like, was he eligible for Cam? Were you not a Cam's grad?
I was, but I don't know. I didn't ask him if he was Hawaiian or not. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for anyone listening at home, like I think it's important to note, right? Like, Kamehameha schools,
yes.
right, are exceptional private schools. Mm-hmm. Our very own Mark is a graduate of those programs,
yes.
and he's obviously not a dummy. You know, you can tell about your experience there, right? But I mean, it's Hawaiian
preference
from blood quantum.
No, it's just in the will of our founder, it was to give education preference to Hawaiians.
Okay.
Hawaiian descent.
So it is technically not exclusive to.
It's not exclusive.
But in practice, talk to me.
Until there are no more Hawaiians, we will, like, it caters to all of the Hawaiians first before everyone else.
All right. There was this time 20 years ago when I was riding the bus. 25 years ago, it was actually a long time. I was actually going to HPU for one semester.
Okay.
Long story, but I went to HPU downtown for one semester, and I was catching the bus every day with these two kids and their brother sister, as howly as they come. Okay, as white as they come. Right. Blonde hair. What, the boy was blonde hair, the girl was dirty brown, whatever. Blue eyes. Like, and they're wearing the blue shirts and the whatever. Yeah, Kamehameha, right? And so, like, I didn't want to put that question to them. I actually talked to them a few times just riding that route. Like, hey guys, how you doing? Like, I think I knew their names, but I can't remember now. But anyway, the point is that that struck me as strange, because I had always thought of Kamehameha schools as being like exclusively Hawaiian and whatever. Nope. And I was like, these guys do not fit the mold. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Prejudice, call it prejudice, whatever. But
that was the original thought I had also, like, oh, only Hawaiian. No, Mark's right, it's preference first, right?
Right.
And so, but going back to the whole, like, the way that Mark and I teach thing, the
you call that teaching?
Yeah, the fucking panorama scores are top notch.
Mine are not. Who is rating you? Are your interviewers rating you, or are your students rating you?
Panorama is shit because the questions, the semantics of the questions are stupid.
Again, I want to like prep the audience at home. So for anybody who's listening to this and doesn't work in education, the panorama is a survey of school culture, for lack of a better word. Okay. And it's administered a few times a year, and there are actually different foci depending on the time of year, but some of it is teacher classroom, and some of it is school and generic culture.
Yes.
Am I getting it mostly?
Yes.
Kind of. Yes.
But excuse me, but not exclusively. It's like depending on the quarter, it might be rate your teacher, rate your class, and then a different quarter of the year, it might be rate your school and rate your general sense of well-being.
Different panoramas.
They are. That's
yes.
Yes. Yes, you're right. Yeah. They're administered as separate questionnaires, and they're administered at different times. So, right. So sometimes a quarter, a teacher gets feedback based on, hey, this is my classroom environment. Yeah. This is how my students feel that I'm addressing their social emotional needs versus my subject competence versus my classroom management. They do ask these questions of individual teachers.
No, it's not that. It's how often do I think about what I learn in class outside of class?
Well, maybe that as well. Okay. All right.
Like the point is, while they rate while they do that, the point of the whole the way Mark and I teach, and I want to circle back to that.
Yeah.
Because I feel I don't want to leave it hanging, is that we, Mark and I, should not be the hardest person that these kids have to deal with.
No way.
If I'm the hardest person you have to deal with, then you're fucked. You're done as an adult.
Because it's not about how I feel in the current moment. It's how do I adapt to this difficult situation, and what do I do? Like, for example, we've had sped kids. Yeah. We've had kids that don't even speak English. Like our best interview came from from wrong. And he came in. He graduated. Yeah.
Was his last name?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Is that his last name?
I don't know.
I think it might be. Yeah. So anyways, he shows up and the first thing he says, he goes, "Sorry, I don't speak English good." And he was the best interview. The best.
You didn't correct him and say, well?
No, he did the best. And then we had another student, right, who was completely like, I don't know if he was SPED or CBI, one of those two. Like, we definitely should have been notified.
You don't have CBI students.
True. SPED then.
For those at home, community-based CBI, community-based instruction, is a special education accommodation that we offer to students who are generally not able to participate in standard curriculum. And so we prepare them according to our vision and mission as world ready, or sorry, help me out here.
Career ready,
college ready,
and
world ready.
Yep.
In then I look at it, and this is Mr. Mac. This is not the school. I look at it as a tiered system of competencies. In other words, we want them to be world ready, we want them to be
career ready
as much as is possible.
College ready
as much as is possible, and world ready as much as is possible. Right.
So it circles back, right? So wrong killed it, right? And then we have the SPED student who killed it, right? And this is where Howard and I I know you said as a SPED teacher, I disagree with your policies, but we treated the kid the same way. We asked the same questions, right? But the way that he adapted and answered was completely different from someone who goes into our building bathroom and vapes all day.
And I forgot the kid's name, but he spoke about his experiences and he answered our questions as best he could. And not only did he do that, he didn't fold under pressure.
No.
It was just answered. Okay, well, thank you for asking that. Let me try to answer that. And it was great. I had nothing. So we originally, when we first read the statement.
Yes, it was abysmal.
I get it.
And he's like, no, this kid is great.
Yes.
We had given kids high marks because for our listener, I purposefully developed these very fucking difficult questions.
Yeah.
They're awful.
Well, they use fourth-grade language.
Yeah.
And they're hard. But it's not because I don't want them. I want them to give them stress. But what I want to hear is, I don't understand what that is.
Yes.
Explain it to me, please. That's what.
And we had a student, right? A female student who first language was Hawaiian, right? She came in from charter school and she transferred in and she said, "I'm sorry, I don't understand the words that you use. Can you rephrase the question?"
And that's legit. I get it.
Rephrased the question and she answered it to the best of her ability and it was fine. But that's what Howard and we base ourselves on is, if you cannot adapt, you will die.
When your ego out. You say, I don't understand. Please rephrase it so I can understand it.
Yep.
Boom, you automatically pass.
Yep.
I mean, I respect that approach. I do. My criticism, if I may, is that I think that you guys are going hard against students who have never had it that hard. And my question is, what learning value does that afford these students who have never had to reach to that level? They probably, and this is interpretive, not definitive. I don't have the research to back this up, but I think that they walk out of that experience thinking those guys were assholes, and to hold them. And here's the thing, though. I know for a fact, because I know you and I know you, that your teaching method is different than that. And when you have a relationship with a student and when you press them to do better and to do greater things, when you have that sustained relationship, you get better results. And I know this for both of you to be true. Mm-hmm. Okay. But I think that when you guys have that rando kid who walks in front of you and you guys focus that light those 4 lights on them
And the
like
camera.
Picard and the.
Yep.
That's ridiculous. And when you guys focus that light on them with the 4 lights and the whatever and the Cardassians ask Picard, how many lights do you see? I think that you guys are subjecting to something that it ceases to be a learning experience. Now, I understand where your heads are at. That you guys are like they should, and I agree they should walk away from that with an introspective approach and saying, what did I do wrong? What could I do better next time? How can I improve that? I don't think that's the kind of learning that happens. Can I put one more twist on it though too? Mark, you have worked in, I'm not going to ask you for your resume right now. How many industries have you worked in for which you've had to do an interview? Howard, same question next. How many different industries? You're a teacher now, and at some point you had to stand in front of somebody and say, hi, I'd like to be a teacher. I believe in these things and blah, blah, blah. I know you used to work in transportation.
I would say 3.
Okay. So you've had a couple of different jobs.
Yes.
Right. And you are now about 30 years old, and this is over. You've been teaching for 5 years.
Yep.
So your early 20s were spent doing something different.
Yep.
Howard, I know that story is significantly different for you.
I have been working since I've been 16 years old.
I believe it. And
I had to fire my best friend from a job because he had to make a choice of seeing his sick mother in the Big Island. And my boss told me directly, you either fire him today or you're fired today.
This was at a strip club, by the way.
It was at a car place. And so that was...
Oh, come on. That joke was gold.
All right, I don't know. But you went serious for a second. You challenged my methods. So now I'm not at all.
He's mad.
Yeah, I love it. So I had to make a lot of tough decisions. In fact, one of the jobs I worked at was Cybersecurity Honolulu. They went out a while ago as an internet provider. And then the questions I'd have to ask people for the interview process was, just general common sense coding questions. What I was looking for is not, I know the answer to everything. The answers I'm looking for is,
but I can find out.
I don't know, but I can probably figure it out.
Yeah.
That's what I want. And so I get that a lot. Whenever I used to do interviews, when I was in a position of management, I used to always ask them, hey, here's this problem. How would you solve it? And then if they bullshitted their way through, I'm like, no, I'm not hiring. If they said, that is a deep question. I don't have the knowledge. I'm pretty sure if I worked here, I could have resources to help me, but I can't answer that right now.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
The reason why we do the PTP is, okay, fine. You want to think of me as a dick? That's fine. You want to think of me as a person who has never challenged a student that far, or this kid has never been challenged that hard? Then if not now, when?
When?
Because if it's not now, when they go get a job, it's going to be too late. Because they'll be like, I don't know, Joe's Chicken Shack or where the fuck place was going to be. And some customer is going to just rip into them. Or there'll be an employee, and I either where I used to work at Starbucks. I remember being with one other person, and then this car club showed up, and then it was a big event, and then my manager disappeared, and it was just her and I working a huge shift. No one could wash the dishes. No one could make anything because we had nothing going on. We couldn't even stop to wash dishes, so we had to shut down. Because I was like, I can't take any more orders. I have no clean dishes. These kids have to say, like, when they get to a situation, goes, hey, how do you solve it? I don't know. I think I'm just gonna do this. Fuck, maybe they're working at a job where it's a security issue, where it's like brakes on a car or Lex Brody's, and they're gonna fucking do nothing about it. Let me finish.
Yeah.
And they're just gonna fuck off the answer. Someone's gonna get killed. So it might as well be Mark and I as the hardest person they're gonna get at the meantime. So they get, oh, Jesus Christ. I remember these 2 teachers ripped into.
Yep.
Well, okay, good, because we're not going to be the last. There'll be customers that rip into you, managers that rip into you, and the difference is, this is just high school. Fuck it.
There's no stakes.
Yeah, no stakes.
I get you.
But in the real world, now your money's at play.
Yep.
And if you don't make money for a day, you don't get set back. Don't make money for a week and you get fired, you're next to being homeless now.
Yeah.
You make a very good point. And honestly, I have not approached this topic as a life or death matter, but like, you're not wrong, right? If they're talking about like brakes or oil change or like whatever, like if you're talking about a vehicle and it's in vehicle maintenance, it obviously makes sense, right? I guess I was kind of thinking about it in the sense of like, I have very, very rarely, and I've worked in a lot of industries, right? I've worked in a lot of different kinds of jobs. I've worked everything from finance to DOD, and like once upon a time, backing up 20 years plus, I was a bartender. You know what I mean? So like, I've done that too. But like, no, what's up?
That's where your alcoholism comes from.
No, we call those we call those 8 years college. He said jokingly, but anyway, yeah, college. But no, I again, guys, I respect you both individually, and I respect both of your teaching practices immensely. But I don't think that we're doing a great service to those kids to put them on the hot plate at that final juncture. I feel like in their senior year, they've either managed to make it work, they've figured out a recipe for success, and or they're not going to take advice from two hard asses who come at them interrogation style seriously because they don't know you. No, it changes dramatically if you have a relationship with them, right? If they're in your class because you have that ability to build that relationship and to tell them those things that you guys have just explained here, because everything that you've just said is legitimate. I don't think that they get that takeaway in an effective manner if you just meet them for those 15 minutes. And you guys might even, and for those at home, like we do sheets, right? With their comment sheets, and we can tell them how they're doing, right? And I'm being just honest. I'm just being pragmatic here. I don't think the kids read those. I think the kids get psyched up and psyched out for that event, and they show up and they do their thing and they walk away and they say, I passed or I failed. I've never made a kid fail.
We've cried
by crying.
We've cried many students.
Why am I not even a little bit surprised?
Because that's life. World
It's
ready.
not life.
It is.
Because stop, please, sir. You and I, we have worked between the three of us, gentlemen. We have an amazing array of industries. Do we not?
Yeah. And
between the three of us, we have been to all kinds of different interviews. And when Mark, who's looking at me right now, Mark, when have you been in an interview with a guy tried to fuck you over?
Never. Do you know why?
Yeah.
Because I was prepared.
But
because in high school, I was told that you treat this interview as it's real life. And you know what I had to interview for? An engineering company. And
Hawaiian?
No, an actual engineering company. I think it was like I mean, it was back in 2012, so I don't remember the company. But they said, "Hey, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And I said, "I want to be a mechanical engineer." And they set up an interview.
English teacher, boys and girls.
Yes, they set up an interview with an engineering company, and I came. I had to do research, and I had to do my background, and I had to put in the work that I was able to do because I gave a shit about education.
I believe all of that. Do we tell our advisory kids to do the same?
Yes, I do. I tell my students. Especially when it comes to the credit stuff that we're learning, like in sophomore year, right? Because I have sophomores. I tell them, like, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not trying to brag, but I've had like 750 plus credit score for years now. So if you have questions, please come ask me, because I will tell you as much as I know, and I will help you do this, because I know what is successful and what is not up until this current. I'm not saying I'm the best, but we're here because we've been there before. We've been there before.
Well, can I just, I'm going to take a tangent here right now and just say, like, that's one of the things that I think is problematic. And it's actually ironic and impressive that I'm sitting here around a table with a couple of individuals who have done other things. And I'm looking at Mark, and I know that Mark has had a handful of careers before he became an English teacher. And I'm looking at Howard, who is literally for all intents and purposes, the career chair, or the chair of career and technical education. This is the
Chinese CEO.
How the says mafioso boss, yakuza boss.
Yeah. I mean, again, with his description, rose-colored glasses, mafioso boss. I don't know whether to pay him respect or to put him in a casket and toss him in the river, because
That's eventually my
no, but we here at this table are divergent from the norm, and the norm is that somebody goes to college, probably Manoa, statistically speaking, here in Hawaii, they go to Manoa, they study education, they come out at the age of 22, they're a teacher. Agree, disagree?
I disagree, but for the sake of this podcast, which has gone like 40, we've gone like 40 different pathways. I think the best way to end this podcast would be to say, I know, right? I'm gonna beat you.
Hey, I've been in and out of this room like 8 times.
I know. I think the best way. Okay.
No.
Last. Can I go last?
Okay.
You go last. This is your podcast.
May I finish the thought?
Okay.
May I finish the thought?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So many teachers have been nothing but teachers. That was my point that I was driving up to right now, right? Mm-hmm. We at this table are exceptions to the rule. I would say that the preponderance of educators in Hawaii have been nothing but that. They do not have any real world experience. They have not been in front of interview committees except in the realm of education. And that's ultimately, and I'm sorry, I don't want to like light you guys up, but that's where I was kind of coming from, is because most, not you guys, interviewers are coming from a perspective of a job world in which they've never really participated. Right? Mm-hmm. They're saying, hey, I'm going to interview you for a fictional job that doesn't exist because you haven't done a job specific resume, right? You have a personal statement that speaks to a few things, probably about where you want to go to college, not about the job that you want to do, right? And who is Howard Scott furrowed brow? Well, no, I'm saying most of our students have a personal statement that has to do with where they want to go to school.
But they also have a career research thing that to do.
Yeah, but those are weak. Those are thin. That's right. All right. Please, by all means, I want to hear about it, But most of our kids are going with that one thing. And what is the one industry, and I'm very specifically calling it an industry, what is the one industry that most of our kids know?
Tourism.
Education.
What?
Education.
I would argue construction.
Some do.
Yeah.
Some know tourism. Our kids know, they think they know what it's like to be. Why? It's the one profession they've been around for 8 to 10 hours a day.
Which is a perfect transition.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Which is perfect transition, because I think if there's anything that we can take away from this podcast, this journey of a podcast, is that teachers are severely underrated and undervalued across the United States.
10 hours a day.
Because you have
spent with teachers.
3 teachers right here that have gone through every like what if situation talking about our lives, right? And the fact of the matter is that if we were not in the current situation that we were, whether it be, my situation where I have 2 teacher incomes and I can survive, or, Howard has his situation, or Joe has his situation, right? There are teachers who, like how you said, there's not a shortage of teachers. It's a shortage of respect. And I think that the aspect of education is so severely ignored. It's undervalued to the point where, oh, you want to be a teacher, good luck, have fun, like how we say in esports, good luck, have fun being a teacher, right? But you don't understand that these kids are suffering because no one respects the teachers. Yeah. All right, Howard, off to you.
So my final closeout with this is I definitely appreciate shit out of luck.
They're ill-equipped for the real world, and teaching will put you right up against the real world pretty quick.
So I think while we can respect Mark and Joe's points, I think we can all agree that everyone should just become teachers, I guess.
Or nobody until there's such a panic.
No, I think people should just pay teachers more. Like, copy the educational systems that work in Europe. Like, Finland has the best educational system for a reason. Why are we not following them? All right, anyways, go.
On the next one, and boy, can I tell you a few things about the Finns.
Let's hit one little last drink together and let's pour out the show. Cheers, everybody. Thanks, everybody.
Kompai.
See ya.
You can find this show on Spotify.
Or probably never.
iTunes. It's a 2-hour plus show. It's the best one. All right. See you, everybody.
Hey, see ya. No, we cut off.